Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sonra yakışmaz mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sonra yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya, abi şimdi
Ben sev. TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sonra yakışmaz mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sonra yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya, abi şimdi
Ben sev. TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve sonra yakışmaz mı?
Gördüm beyler, al ve sonra yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya, abi şimdi
Ben sev. TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi vardı senin başına geçirmeyeceğim.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Anneni de aldın dur.
Ben çekiyorum bana bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Baksanıza. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Algısına yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Algısına yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Tahmini de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum bana bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam. İyi Baksanıza. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Algısına yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Algısına yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
tahmini de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum bana bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam. İyi Baksanıza. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Algısına yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Algısına yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi gel. Abi şimdi de
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
tahmini de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum bana bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Today is day 2 of Always On Polish Monthly Finals Season 1. And yesterday was an absolute banger if you are a Money Makers fan. You know what? We'll see if they can keep the heat going today. My name is Maxman, going to be joined by the one and only amazing DK, always with the amazing background that's definitely not a green screen. DK, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, Max. Excited yet again to see what day 2, also day number last, is going to be bringing in. I'm curious if anyone's going to try and play catch up, or if you know, things are what they are today. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see the leaderboards in a little bit, but you know what? I don't think it takes a very high IQ to understand that maybe that's a pretty big lead that might be impossible to catch up to, unless we see some really significant performances from the teams in the podium currently, which could be happening, DK. It's in the realm of possibilities, but it's not really realistic in my opinion, especially because all the players on Moneymakers were just popping off. It was their day 1. But, of course, I mean, teams like GR Esports, especially in the very first game, right, DK on Rondo, just shredding it over there. We are kicking off today in Rondo once again. So if any team is going to catch up to them, GR Esports are the team to maybe make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely GR, they had the biggest winner chicken dinner that we've seen in the entirety of yesterday, right? They came through with those 18 eliminations. But we touched on this a little bit yesterday as well, as we had no repeat team coming through with those winner chicken dinners, right? We had the Cam Army getting their second victory, or their first victory rather, on the second match of the day. But Bros, actually, they got the smallest winner chicken dinner that we had for the entirety of yesterday, right? Only 2 eliminations, but that was, of course, on our final Erangel of the day. So today is going to be another big one to see exactly how these teams are going to be looking to maybe try and catch up with that 101 point lead that we see right on the top of the board on the left.
So we did talk about it because we had 5 games yesterday, DK. That means we have a team that's got a 20-point average. Slightly, very slightly over because it's 101 points. But Moneymakers, if they can keep that going for these next 5 matches, I wouldn't have any words, which is weird because that is my job to have the words to describe things. But I wouldn't have any because it would be just such an outlandish performance coming out from them. Though, again, GR Esports can play catch up with their 62 points. Even Ozrox Esports, which had some good games, especially I was a big fan of their Rondo match earlier on in day 1. So very impressive stuff over there. Even Alp Esports with Mr. Fake Kitsune could be also maybe trying to perform this time around. Though, looking on the right side of the leaderboard for me, I know it's weird to say because we still have 5 matches, DK, and I don't know if you would agree with my point, but I think all these teams, except maybe Motion, for me, out of the equation completely. Like, it's done. It's game over.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be quite difficult to catch up to try and close that gap. And as we know, the prize money only goes to so many teams, right? So if you want to get the ball rolling and get your hands closer to that prize pool, you're gonna have to work pretty dang hard here today. And of course, it's all down to just the one Rondo that we have, and then the double dose of Erangel and Miramar that is going to be coming up as well. So, yeah, I don't know if they can catch. I don't think they can. Looking at the whole point situation, yeah, I think it might be really, really difficult today.
Look, what if all the 15 other teams just hot drop onto the Moneymakers? And no, actually, they would just get way more eliminations, right?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
No. So you drop a nuke on their compound, right? And maybe that's the only way to get rid of them. Just get rid of Rozok from the get-go. And maybe you have a chance to make it work out. But you know what? We also have a chance to dive right back into Rondo. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you are nice and seated. You got your snack of choice and a great beverage. Because, oh my goodness, we've got some absolute peak coming your way here. It's Rondo, game 1 of day 2 here for the Always On Polish Monthly Finals, Season 1. And we have the double plane path once again, which is rare, by the way, DK. This doesn't happen every game, and yet we got it twice in a row, which that does not happen very often.
Hey, that's just how we roll. That's just how we roll, Max. Yeah, we're just out here getting a double dose of flight paths, having the teams cross all the way over in towards the northern side of the map. But interestingly enough, it is not as crazy sweaty, right? I mean, yes, the zone did take us all the way down to the south, and of course, the Moneymakers are going to be starting us off with a little bit of chaos. We've got 3 teams up in Stadium. We've got quite a few teams up in Neox Factory as well. And I know you like dropping in Neox yourself.
It is a bloody beauty. Okay, I sounded very Australian there, didn't I? I love that position. It's so fun for me to play. You got a lot of elevation too, and you do have a recall tower, which is amazing to play around if you do encounter some harsh early game moments, so you can easily get your teammates back on the ball. Like here, for example, Money Makers, they do have himself heavily gunned that was out, and boom, he's done. He's back up. He's in the plane. He's going to drop back with his teammates very soon. Actually, no, I think it was revived by one of his very distant teammates, not in Neox factory itself. So they're going to be in a 2-2 split situation, and they're fully surrounded. You have Flame overs on their side. You also have another team, I think it's GR Esports, east of them currently with Default. That, by the way, we did check out the stats. Default was the MVP of day one yesterday, DK, with, what was it, 24 eliminations. This guy was absolutely cracked, and here, I think he's looking to repeat that success once more.
Yeah, I think it had like almost, what, 4,000 damage or something ridiculous like that?
4.3k, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, Default was the MVP by default. So, no surprise on that front, either which way. But now it's going to be the big question to see whether or not DMC is going to look to step it up here today. Because as we see, coming into the day, they only started off with 3 points. So they've been having a pretty challenging day yesterday. Maybe today could be a little bit better. I think the best thing that we can hope for the teams here is to just make those numbers, make their numbers go a little bit higher.
I like big numbers. The higher the better, hopefully for these guys. That's going to be the point. I believe... Wait, does Default have the new Org skin? Like, we were loving it. It was just absolute ASMR every time he was shooting with that weapon. We'll have to see, though. He's waiting to go for the pre-fire onto GR Esports. They're moving forward, and he's not moving, trying to give them a false sense of security right now. Oh, is he going to... No, he doesn't have a nade. Tier 2 helmet, Tier 1 vest. No increased mag. So that's going to be 30 bullets for Duo, which is doable. 40 bullets would make it a little bit easier, but no, here they're just going to go a little bit deeper on the northern side of Neox, so he might be left alone for now, as Spike, the other player of Moneymaker, is going to get pushed up. Sees Invictus, going to go for the spray, not going to be able to hit anything just yet. But Moneymaker's definitely on the way more passive approach, DK, because, again, they went for the res, but they do have one of their teammates here, Vic, looking to join up, but I think that there's just too many teams inside of Neox itself, so it's really hard to make that push into the city itself, because otherwise you're just going to get instantly blasted out of the lobby.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit more selective with when you choose to take these engagements. I mean, as exciting as these early engagements are up in towards Neox factory, it does make things a little bit more... I'd say that you have to put in a little bit more thought as to what your strategy is going to be here, right? Because you could rush in, just go in guns blazing, hope that you maybe hit 1 or 2 of your shots, maybe hit all of your shots, and pray that you don't get taken on down. But then you get to the recall section, and there might be a team sitting there waiting for you, because we have seen that be a strategy, you know, in some events. But the Moneymakers, I mean, they just don't... They just don't care. They just like, you know what? There's even more points available for us. Let's see if we can maybe hit 200 as opposed to just 101 that they started off with.
They're making money. Living up to the name. Once again, we've said that many times, and we're going to keep on saying it because they keep on getting these massive point games, it seems. Anno, also a team that was involved in this Neox factory fight on the more northern eastern edge of the compound itself. And they are down to just a duo with Biscuit and Lucifer. I do believe they can still go for the recall on their 2 teammates. So it's not game over just yet. They need to make it out alive to go for that recall, which there is going to be one again in the Neox factory they could easily use for themselves. But here camping with the JS9, the staircase position, Invictus still going to be looking to push around. Invictus really want to get a part of this conversation, it seems, DK. They want to get some early eliminations, which on Rondo is the best plan to go for as they push up once more.
Well, this is where Anno needs to play it quite cautiously, because as we've seen, Biscay's reaction just a little bit on the slow side there. Quick push coming through here from Ozrox. So this could be a great starting point now for Ozrox. Of course, they're the other potential contender here against the GR. Beautiful utilities flying up. But Biscay, when he's not defending stairs, he's really good at blocking those doors. And now the smoke actually helping both sides quite a bit here. But Biscay getting picked up by Ace on the far side.
Oh, he got baited by another team. That's unfortunate. I thought it was a nade for a second. I was like, oh, that was a very good nade. And actually, it was just a smoke. Unless he was trying to cause a concussion with that smoke. I don't know what the game plan was, but it did work out, as he said, nicely. Just deny some information from the opponent team as they're trying to push up the staircase and make it through the door. So very good plan indeed. Anno taking a 1v1 fight currently in this little building that does have a recall tower. The game plan is you win, you get your team back up. As Yuki, big spam with the S12K. Not going to be able to really hit anything significant just yet, as Lucifer will be going for the heal up. And that was his final first aid. Only a few bandages now and some stems. So he needs to win it as soon as possible. Big spray here. Nicely done with the barrel. He's got 15 bullets, which is going to be more than enough for this 1v1 fight. You don't want to get caught off. Whoever loses this fight pretty much is going to be resulting in a squad wipe. Lucifer, you go out now, and that's going to be game over on this massive potential Rondo game. Run around the Rosie, taking way too long here. DK, he's jumping out in the open. A risky play from Yuki, and he will be able to make it back behind cover. That was a risky play, but it kind of worked out, but didn't do any damage whatsoever on Lucifer. But now he's down from 15 bullets down to now just 6. He's wasting everything, but he does hit it eventually, and that is going to be the end for Yuki, eliminated, and Lucifer will be able to get, I believe, a full reset. As we look at his team lineup, and indeed, he's going to get his 3 teammates back into the game. What a comeback.
Yep, for Anno, this is going to be a good refresher, just getting them back into the swing of things. But it's always exciting to see the contention coming through over on towards those recall towers. Unfortunately, as we did see for motion, there's not going to be much more of that motion heading further into the rest of this match itself. But WLG, though, they have a bit of an opportunity here to also try and rake in those points. They've already been able to secure themselves 3 eliminations. And looking up into Yulin, I mean, this is also a really good spot, right? You got that nice elevation, quite a few angles to utilize. So let's see if they will be able to get that jump in as well, QRX are going to be slowly starting to encroach here. But again, not the easiest position to get a good lay of the land here.
Oh, circle about to shift too, as we do see. Elas able to get himself an opening knock. Not able to convert it into a second, but another big southern shift this time around. Just like on yesterday's Rondo game, right, DK? Very southern play zone. That's twice in a row. All these northern drop teams, unfortunately, going to have to go for these wide, long rotations to try and get yourself in position. And that's going to cause some early clashes on those pivots. Elas, again, holding strong without really any assistance from their teammate. They did go for the recall. I would love to see WLG try and assist Elas a little bit more, because they know they got the opening knock. They know they're kind of currently in an advantageous position. Are we going to fully commit here with the AUG? The nades coming through onto Dream. Does do some nice damage. Not going to result in a knock, but still going to demand a lot of respect on that position as they're pushing away. WLG in full control, it seems, of this fight.
I heard something completely different when you were talking about this player, right? I heard you saying, you know, something's happening here, but alas, not getting the shots. You know?
Yes.
And then I was like, I looked at the name and I'm like, oh,
no knocks.
Now I get it. Now I get it. I was like, oh, wow, Max, you're speaking so fancy today.
Well,
but, yeah.
No, I don't. My normal English is not fancy. It's gamer language.
Oi, oi.
Oh, he's a gamer. Oh my god, he's popping off. Keck W, Lamau. So cool. That's my English.
But either which way, I mean, I like this. I like the pressure here that WLG is applying onto QRX here. Again, not making it easy for anybody, but Elas is going to be looking to wrap around to get that beautiful flank in on them. But this is where Thorndown needs to be super cautious, because there's 2 players pushing in onto QRX. So that is 1 down. S for D. Out they go. Quick raise coming in there for QRX. So let's see whether or not WLG is going to be able to get it. It does sound like we're sounding off the alphabet all at the same time. But only one team can survive, and I don't think it is going to be QRX.
Alas, QRX is no more.
Yes, alas.
Yes. But I actually, in that fight, I really enjoyed what we saw from Hate Most and Throne. Throne was kind of pushing, being a little bit more aggro and serving as the front line for his team. And as he pushed, he was getting engaged by one of the players of QRX. And then we had Hate Most, who was in a perfect angle to assist him in case of him getting engaged upon. So I think that was definitely the plan for them to kind of work in that very strong, synergistically executed way. And it worked out perfectly. So Hate Most definitely saving the life of his teammate in that engagement. GG, as we do have some quick replays of all these big early Neox game fights that were happening. And we did see Moneymakers trying to go full aggro, but taking some casualties we didn't really see too often in day 1, DK. So is this showing the kink in the armor of Moneymakers that they might be fumbling here on this second day?
Nah. Moneymakers fumble?
That's the answer I was expecting.
Nah. I don't even think that word exists in their vocabulary. It's just like, nah, that was all on purpose, right? They just wanted to use it to get into center zone, like they've done here, right?
And they still have a full team. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, easy recalls like, oh, I don't want to rotate all the way there. Just, you know, I'll just get taken out and then just recall me closer to the spot where you need to go. I mean, that's actually a big brain strat, right? If you want to move your team over the entire map, I think that's a really quick way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But it's just, it feels weird to see moneymakers lose a fight. So I'm going to say they're washed now. They're terrible. No. Okay, guys, I'm trolling, okay? I'm not serious. I'm just messing around. No. Moneymakers still keeping 4 players alive, going for the recalls, and you get 7 eliminations. Imagine starting an Erangel game with 7 eliminations. Like, bro, that's so many points you're already getting. They're up to 108 points already. Starting off today with 101. That's Jenga. Yeah. Decent little position here. The thing is, this bridge is great, but if someone gets close to you and gets in nade range, it's very easy to nade because it's just like, it's very predictable as to where you're going to be positioned. So you got to be careful. Khabib, nice headshot connecting onto, not actually anyone from Bros. It's from another team entirely. It's going to be from Anno, if I'm not mistaken, in the distance. And actually, Jenga going to try and also get a knock for himself. But Moreno doing exactly as I said. He's going to go for those easy nades. So much damage coming on through. And he's going to be able to find an easy trade off the car. Ooh, I thought the car was just going to go right over him. But Anno, get that one, get right back in their car and get the hell out of dodge. But I don't think they're going to be able to do so successfully as they lose a player, have to go back for the recall. And EA Esports are now rebranded to Last Esports. We'll be looking to fully push and confirm those eliminations as the Blue Zone should be getting Biscay, and that is indeed going to be the case.
Yeah, but former EA also now needs to, well, kind of just outlast this Blue Zone, right? Because that blue is going to start tickling away at them. If the Blue Zone doesn't do it, the blue team over here might definitely give their try at it, as Anno is looking to get themselves quickly patched up before starting their rotation. But now you got to get moving because the blue and the spray is heading up to them, as well as the players, is not going to make this any easier for them. Not quite sure what approach Lost is taking here. As we can see, they do have quite a few players now falling, as Khabib is going to be the last one, at least in the blue. We do have End all the way on the other end in the safe zone. So this is a very interesting tactic that they're trying to use here.
I hate this Attack on Titan skin. I hate it so much. Like, it's cool, but I hate... Oh my god. It's terrible. Every time I see it, I cringe so hard. I'm like, you could have made any skin for Attack on Titan, and you make this atrocity. This is what... Okay, thank you. PUBG Mobile, I kind of respect they committed to it. But you know what? Circle's about to shift. I'm going to have a road finish. Seems like that will be the case, and it goes on Moneymakers again. Decent position. You said earlier on for the mid-game, they went dead center circle, and it's been paying off significantly. They got all the dividends for themselves on that investment. As northern teams... QRX going to have to start to move on onto the western side. You got Alpi maybe going to be fighting the remnants of Bro. Well, not remnants. That's a full team actually. Now they got the recall from Bros, so that's going to be a possible engage. And I would say Alpi here going a little bit deep in the circle. You know a team is west of you. Do you want to just hold down this really strong position in the circle? Or do you want to try and hold them off out in blue? You've got 2 options. As GR Esports here, DK looking for a clash of their own.
Ooh. Well, GR definitely was the most aggressive team that we had on this map yesterday, so let's see if they're going to live up to that same name again, as they are going to be looking to at least take a bit of control up towards the northern side of zone. And I think the nice thing about this is once they are able to assert a bit of dominance here, it could open up quite a bit of opportunity for them. But now with Gentleman being the last one remaining, it is looking pretty grim for them, as they have to be quick, right? Moneymaker's starting to move up as well. The players slowly looting their health as well. You can see Bablu about to get raised up. But this is that opportunity for Elas to come through. But, well, you can only run so far if you have no health. The Moneymakers saving the day here for GR.
You got saved. You know what? They're in second place. Just because of that, let them win. You know, don't try and play the catch up. They saved your bloody life here. 6 eliminations still for GR, so they're able to survive it and get a closer to possible placement points. And we still have in Circle 4 11 teams, meaning at this point you're not getting any placement points until top 8. So it's still going to be quite slow. As Default, our day 1 MVP. And actually, Spike has stepped up. I was looking at the stats here. How he kind of won elimination. Default 1, 2 for Vic. And Spike has got himself 6, so he's also putting his name on the map here when it comes to the Moneymakers lineup. Very happy. And also, look at that spread, DK. Look at the entirety of Moneymakers. Default is just chilling because he knows he's that good. He's in this massive 3-1 split, and he's still moving about. He's shown absolute confidence. Overconfidence, maybe, but it paid off. So, Can you really
Yeah.
criticize it? I don't think so.
It's going to be tough, right? We have to see what they end up doing, but it's going to be default with a quick switch onto the back seat there. Ooh, Khabib is going to be rolling down the mountain. Could this be the opportunity for a quick follow-through to come in? We'll find out. In the meanwhile, it is going to be Invictus also looking to establish a little bit of a foothold. Bovon towards the edge. The sprays in that replay, absolutely insane. But one thing I noticed is you spoke about WLG. You said they're in 11th place, and I was like, huh, it worked.
11th.
Yeah,
Did I say 11th?
yeah. You're
Did
welcome. Yes, thank you so much. For
Damn
those
it.
of you who missed it, there is no such thing as 11, right? I love saying that, just to mess with people's heads. And then I got Max to say it too. Wow.
Damn it, you got me. I'm infected. Is this an outbreak? Am I infected? Is the world
Yes.
gonna end
Yes.
on the
it's
11th
Inception.
day? It's game
Ooh.
over. Oh, nice
What a
nade onto
nade, though.
Ace. Ace in the hole. Love to see that. Gonna go hopefully for that res on their teammate, but Circle about to shift once more. And we're on this crossroads section on the trifecta of the road, which is going to be tricky if he goes there once again. And it does go there once again. Oh my goodness, it's going to be terrible. Not many compounds in play except for the southern eastern edge and the northern western side of the circle. It's going to be compounds. Otherwise, it's pretty much just fully open-ended with a few little hilltops, little valley positions. Otherwise, it's just going to be completely open for these teams to play around. So you want to make sure to hold on to those cars. Volt, though, final survivor. For the side of Invictus, trying to go for the full recall. He does get Alzen, but nope, there you go. That's going to be the squad wipe. Team is fully eliminated out of this game by Ozerox. Great grenade indeed. And Ozerox also looking to have a really good opening game here on Rondo with 7 eliminations, getting closer and closer to a possible double-digit elimination game.
Yeah, I mean, even Invictus played a really good game, right? Went out with 7 eliminations to their name, so pretty good start to the day. But now it is up to our remaining 10 teams to show us what they've got and who's going to be bringing in the most here. I mean, for Pretty and his teammate, this is a pretty tough spot to be as Spike lays it down and off they go. Another QRX team bites the dust and down to 9 has 14 eliminations. Now rack up here for the Moneymakers.
Oh, Stormless. Oh, going to be able to make it out. It's a good vehicle, quite tanky, able to suck up a lot of those bullets. This Milaz also going to be taken out of the equation upon arrival. And we're seeing so many good nades, I have the impression here. These nades are pinpoint accurate from so many individual players. And Spike going to do the solo rollout. Will be able to get himself some significant damage with his teammates. 16 eliminations for the Moneymakers. I mean, what the hell are these guys on? What did they have for breakfast? Because I want the bloody same thing. They're having a great time. Great compound over to the western side. Alpi going to be looking to maybe encroach on their terrain. Take a little bit more control of these buildings. Do they have the cars to make that push? I'm not sure, though. Vic in the open, right behind the bug. Able to suck up a few of those bullets, but he will be able to survive. And Alpi, now you did some damage. Maybe time to get in the cars and push up. But Alpi seem a bit hesitant to me here, DK. As Tikas is going for that wide off angle.
This is an interesting play going through here from LP. I mean, as we've seen yesterday, they do take quite a bit of time in the match before they really start with that momentum. And so I think, at least in this first match, it actually has cost them quite a bit, right? Only 2 players left, 3 eliminations up, and they are going up against not only the players from the Moneymakers, but also potentially the Bros, if they're not super careful about how they take this play. But Moneymakers, they seem really unfazed, right? Yes, we have already said goodbye to Havlik, but now the rest of the team, they're going to look to do as much as they can here. And yesterday you were talking about the terraforming. That is a pretty OP performance, so pretty crazy potential for this game. Again, we see that coming into utilization here. So let's see whether or not the Moneymakers can make even more money this way.
Yeah, it's going to come into use. I mean, especially in open-ended finishes, as I talked about earlier here on this road trifecta area. If you have the pickaxes, if you have the nades, if you have the C4s in particular, C4s in my opinion are great for that. You just create yourself a little bit of a dip, and you got instantly a great position to push into or to create a very good defensive position pretty much instantly. So some teams are going to start doing that. Default, once again, with the car, just trying to scout up northwest, waiting for the circle to pop. It does shift away from them, so Default already looking for what's going to be their next transition point. Where are they going to be moving to next in this circle, in this phase? As Moneymakers, I like it. They're not instantly trying to leave. They want to hold off Alpi first, which I think is the right step. You want to make sure to eliminate Alpi before transitioning in the circle, and then you can set up a very good defense against other teams that might be coming your way because you already cleared your backside. Tigas, though, is going to be taken out of this game. See you later on Erangel, my friend. As Moneymakers, still with the cards. And you know what? I realized I'm looking at a lot of plays of Moneymakers. And I'm talking a lot about their plays, but because, in my opinion, they're very well executed and they have a very clear game plan, it makes it very easy to cast when you know exactly what they're doing. And here you go, Alpi taken out. That's going to be Moneymakers up to 17 eliminations. We almost had a 20 elimination bomb yesterday, right, DK, with the side of GR Esports. It got 19 elims and that win. Can we finally see here on day 2 a 20+ elimination chicken dinner? It could be happening here with the side of Moneymakers.
Yep, it could. I mean, Moneymakers, they did get 20 elims yesterday, but unfortunately there was no chicken in sight at that particular point. But it all could change, as you've already mentioned. But you just got to commend how good that zone cleanup is, right? You were talking about the rotation moving forward, just making sure that there's no chance for anybody to kind of stab them in the back as they move on forward. But looking over on towards the southeastern side, I don't really see too much of that potential threat for our remaining crews over here. Of course, GR, very centralized position here. It is going to be quite a bit of a sticky spot that they could find themselves in. Of course, right there at the crossroads, at the intersection. So whatever they do, they're going to have to try and defend it as best they can, as there's still 6 other teams that are yet to make their move. And, of course, for DMC, they only have Sprada, 1 player left. 1 hopeful going up against maybe the side here of Ozrox. For now, it is going to be a dance around, ooh, the Doritos. And that is going to be, well, the end for Lost.
I hate that people are calling them the Doritos. But yeah, he was indeed dancing around them the entire time. And able to almost buy himself a little bit more time for himself. But it didn't quite work out here. Leon, the nade coming out. We can see Ozrox really don't have too big of an idea of where that nade came from. Espada inching closer and closer with that nade in hand. The pin pulled out. Oh, that could be good, actually. A little bit undercooked, it seems. That should be doing some damage, but not going to be resulting in a knock. As Blue, though, as his teammate gets damaged significantly. I think Blue's going to try and assist Leon, but he's pushing up so closely. And with a third-person perspective, you'd think you would be able to see him, but he's looking the complete opposite direction. This... Is he the hitman from the...
Sprada's sitting there's like, what are you looking at up there? I can't see it. What are you waiting for?
No way he's going to get him just like that. Oh, I think he spotted him. Oh, no. Oh, the disappointment. The BM, he's shooting that crate. I think he got a little bit jump scared there for a second. Not going to be exactly what he was hoping for. So still a good attempt from Sparta, but it doesn't pay off in the end. Ozrox up to 11 eliminations here. 11th elimination as DK, and now I would say apparently, as they're going to be looking to, again, inch closer and closer in the circle. The circle goes back to Moneymakers here this time around. I'm calling it now. It's a Moneymakers win. Chat, tell us what you think. DK, can anyone even compete at this point against the Moneymakers domination?
If for some reason they don't play any of the remaining 4 games, maybe then. But any other way, no.
We have to ban them now.
No, they've just been playing so aggressive. I mean, Spike already up to 10 eliminations as a solo, so a pretty impressive performance that we see coming in here. Bros now on the opposite side, spotting out a bit of an opportunity. This is where Spike needs to be careful. Oh, because that boom could definitely send them back into the lobby quick, fast. And while speaking about quick, here we go. As there's now 2 hopefuls remaining for the Moneymakers. Of course, Team M also just chilling on the edge of the zone here. They've been relatively quiet, not too quiet. They do have 4 eliminations, so that would bode quite well for them. But let's see, can they push it to the extreme? The Bros now going to be feeling a little bit of that explosive excitement as the utilities start to rain down on them.
Oh, the nade, that one's looking clean. Oh, going to be actually rolling down the hill just a tad. Okay, through the smoke. Oh, wait, no, he hits that? Kvik, that's just crazy. How the hell do you spot that moving pixel like for a split second and he gets so much damage done? The nade comes out once again. That's kind of helping Kvik at this point. Is creating these deeper divots in the ground, so he's just giving him even better of a defensive position. That nade should be on the money though. And he... Wait, what? How? Okay, I don't know what the hell's happening. I feel like I'm expecting something, DK, and it just doesn't end up happening. But now GR Esports slowly pushing up high ground and are going to be taking control against Moneymakers. I think this might be the end of their game, and it is indeed. And again, not able to get the win with the 19 eliminations here coming in from Moneymakers. But you know what? Now we still have 4 teams alive, and including that's going to be Team M. They still have 3 players up and running about, as they have to push in, but they're not in a great position. They need to force a fight. They need to pick one team to engage upon, but they're so indecisive. And right now, Ozrock should be looking for an easy limb with that possible nade from Blue, right behind that crate. Indeed, he's just going to get completely battered, and that is going to be it for their second player here of this match.
I mean, they almost sent the loot crate flying as Hitman also now gets bombarded, and out they go. That is an unfortunate finish for Team M there. But now GR, this is their chance, right? Still to try and climb up. Yes, they're not going to get the 19 eliminations that we saw for themselves yesterday, but there's still a good opportunity to potentially maybe rake in a few additional more. Ozrox, though, they are looking pretty good up on this elevated position. They can see clearly right down into the bros. And I don't see GR necessarily being able to catch up with them anytime soon. But here we have it. It is the final trio showdown. And GR, they have center zone.
They do. This is a really good cliff, too, because you got these little, like, rock terrain thingies. I don't know how to describe. Like these little rock formations that create these little dips that protect you from teams above and also below you at the same time. So if you're getting pushed from any angle, you're really good. Except if you have some really strong nades coming your way, which could be the case. But I'm looking at Yushi from Bros. He doesn't have any nades, just 2 smokes. Maybe his teammate has a nade, but otherwise that's going to be a really hard push for you to commit to. As Ozrox losing Blue, followed up by Leon. That's going to be Ozrox fully out of this lobby, it seems, and now down to just 2 teams. It's going to be the side of Bros versus GR Esports. GR Esports did have the chicken dinner yesterday, right, on Rondo, DK. Could they make the back-to-back happen here with their 3 remaining players?
Yeah, I don't see them wanting to share at all. And especially with the 3v2, it could be quite an easy push for them onto the Bros here, especially with that elevation. But now, gentlemen, trying to get just over on towards that flank. This could be a very cheeky approach. We do see those utilities, of course, doing a nice little bit of damage as well. But, I mean, looking at GR, they seem to be super comfortable with this approach here, right? Nothing too challenging for them. Now it's going to be up to Yushi and Rashu to see, can they survive the onslaught? It is going to be Gentleman starting the fight, getting the 1, looking for the 2nd. Can't really spot the positions throughout that smoke. But it clears, and now it is going to be open time as everybody just comes flying on down. GR getting a back-to-back victory right here on Rondo.
I love the ending of the 2 GR Esports players just like, I've had enough of waiting, just the 2 of them jumping off the cliff and trying to get their final eliminations. Very, very well executed indeed. But yeah, the true kings here for the always-on Polish monthly final season 1 of Rondo is none other than GR Esports, making it happen back-to-back. And not only just getting back-to-back wins on this map, right, DK, getting big elimination games especially, which is very, very important as you try to initiate a comeback against Moneymakers. But is it going to be enough when Moneymakers make it far in the game? They get another 19 eliminations here. And by the way, that means they still maintain the 20-point average here, DK. They make it happen over 6 matches. It keeps on happening. The trend is never ending for the Moneymakers. So yeah, again, we said that Moneymakers are done. I think now top 2 is done too with that kind of performance of GR Esports. Like, how do you play catch-up if it's even possible? And I don't think it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, the only team that could potentially maybe pose a threat to GR then would be the Ozrock squad, right?
Yes.
Because they also made it at least up into that top 3 position. So they are in a position where they can capitalize on placement points. They got a bucket load of eliminations as well. So it is looking pretty hopeful for them, but you got to give it up for GR, right? Just such a phenomenal performance, and they look very, very comfortable when it comes to playing over on the map of Rondo. As we know, for a few teams, with Rondo being the new map on the circuit, it's sometimes a little bit iffy, but so far it seems like GR, they just know exactly where they need to go with it.
Yeah, they found the formula that just works on this map, it seems. And you know what? It's been very successful so far. And so far for the entirety of this tournament, because that is going to be the final Rondo for the Polish side of things here on the Always On tournament. With that said, time to check out the leaderboard, see exactly how big of a lead has been created for our top 2 squads. And oh my goodness, it keeps on happening. They just can't stop winning. It's Moneymakers with 123 points, almost breaching 100 eliminations, almost double the amount of GR Esports, as GR Esports also looking very comfortable with their 86 points, 73 points over to Ozrock. So now we can see a big gap that was created initially between second and third place, but that gap, DK, now is between third and fourth place, 73 down to 46. We need to see a comeback from these middle pack teams right now. Otherwise, these teams are just going to run away with it pretty much instantly.
Yep, no, I think that's very true. So they will have to step it up. But fortunately, we do have that double dose of Erangel that is going to be making its way on in as well. So, yeah, I think also Chad has a very good point, right? You were asking what could potentially stop Moneymakers earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
You.
No.
Right?
I just replied in the chat, even the curse can't stop Moneymakers. No. DK, I appreciate being added to the conversation of Moneymakers, but I don't matter in this situation. I'm sorry.
Well, we got to try. We got to try and figure out something, that could work. But yeah, it is going to be pretty hard for the rest of the teams to play catch up. But I don't think that is going to be the focus at this point, right? I think for here moving forward, the approach would be to just play the best game of PUBG that you can, right? If you happen to take down MM, great. If you don't, either which way you try, right? So I'm just hoping to see some pretty exciting PUBG, as we've been seeing in all 5 matches yesterday.
Yeah, and I don't think Moneymakers lose games because teams outplay them. I think they lose games because they keep fighting too much, and you're going to lose players eventually, so they're their own worst enemy sometimes in these matches. But with that said, guys, we're going to head on over to a very short break, and then we'll be back for some juicy Erangel gameplay, so stick around to not miss out.
But some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'se başka geçiyor.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi Mardin'se başka geçiyor.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Bak şöyle. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi kimdir bu?
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka bir şey
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseni zaten.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi ben çekiyorum vardı bir şanssız ya.
Well, that's going to be game one done and dusted. 4 more games to go before we crown our very first champions here for the Polish edition of the Always On Monthly Finals. I'm still Maxman, he's still DK. We're still going to be wrapping up these games in style and hopefully get some amazing games from every other squad. And that also does include Moneymakers, as they just seem unstoppable alongside GR Esports and Ozrox. But there is still an opportunity in the distance there, DK, for these middle pack teams to make that comeback happen. And that is what I'm expecting, actually, for this game. This next game, we are going to be having a middle pack team take home the dub and catch up to our big top 3. What do you think?
I mean, that'd be great, though, right? That'd be really, really, really great. Because, I mean, speaking about middle pack teams, yesterday we did see Cam Army sneak in that very cheeky winner chicken dinner. So there is an opportunity for that, but of course for them it happened over on Everest. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to be heading back to Everest again today. Be interesting to find out, but yeah, it's going to be hard work, especially with the performances that we've seen so far, just coming off the first match here. So yeah, game number next is going to be a pretty heavy, scary one.
Game number next. 11th game of this one. No, it's going to be very fun to see how things are going to be going down. But yeah, Cam Army, I fully agree. I think they had a very interesting game. I don't think they won it purely because it was an Everest game per se. I think it was a lot of teams doing mistakes and overcommitting to their own fights and kind of forgetting about the bigger picture. And Cam Army being like, okay, well, you're all focused on your fight. If we time it right, we easily get a big third party, get all the eliminations in the world, and also get the chicken dinner off the back of that. So I think that's very applicable to a lot of different scenarios. So because of that, I think Cam Army could still be that big surprise team. So I'm very happy you bring them up here, DK. But other teams I would like to see maybe a step up from that I know have that potential. I'm still looking at Anno. I think Anno had some moments where they just were very impressive, in my opinion. I think that they are definitely a more passive, strategical team in a grand scheme of things. But if they start to level up a bit, their aggression in these fights, I think that they are a team that can actually do really well for themselves. But as of right now, when you have a team like Moneymakers in your lobby, I don't think you should be overconfident, because if you are overconfident against them, you're done. So maybe just be a little bit more cautious and put a big focal point about gathering information, knowing maybe where. Oh, that could be interesting. Knowing exactly where Moneymakers play and just avoid it like the plague and just play against the other teams except Moneymakers. That might be my strat if I was playing.
Well, I mean, Anno, they are quite an aggressive team when it comes to Erangel, right? Yesterday, they walked away with double-digit eliminations in our first match. So there is an opportunity for that. Yes, the second Erangel, they went on to, well, they had 10 elims in the first Erangel, and the second one they just took the one away, and that's then how many eliminations they got. So that does put them on 5 eliminations average across the 2. But yeah, I want to see a little bit more from them, and of course, as you've mentioned already, right, they're really close with regards to the points. So if there's a team that could maybe bring a little bit of competition, it would be them. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope to see a bit of an upset here. And of course, that point situation, the gap is not that wide. As we saw, it was, what, 13 points at the end of the previous match. So getting 13 points for them is not impossible.
Yeah, it's doable, definitely for sure. I mean, of course, they can definitely get higher up on the leaderboards to try and get a portion of that prize pool for themselves, where you got to be in the highest ranks possible for that to happen. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities for them. Motion did lose a little bit of that momentum, right? I think that they had some really good moments yesterday, especially Ked as a solo player really stepped up in some big moments. Didn't see much in that first game, unfortunately for them. I actually couldn't even tell you where they were because I just don't remember their game because they went out so quickly and they were so very unimpressive, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Motion got to be careful to not fall too far behind. Otherwise, that comeback is just going to be nigh impossible going into our next few matches. But yeah, two Erangels, looking at them. Actually, I'm looking at Alpi. That's a team that I really want to step up their aggression, DK, because we've seen it multiple times. Their gameplay strategy is get all your players in the early stage in a central position of phase 1, phase 2, chill, get no eliminations whatsoever, and start popping off into the later stage. At that point, I'm going to say, it's not going to be enough if you want to play catch-up. You need some eliminations at every single stage of the game. So maybe look for points of contention where you can easily abuse teams around you, like maybe shut off rotation paths to get easy eliminations in the early stage, or just try and create some more space for you on the edge of the circle. I want Alpi to just be more involved in the early game conversation rather than just being like, we go here and we wait. I think there's a big lack of opportunity that they're just not going for right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially looking at where they find themselves on the board overall, right? There is quite a big opportunity, and I think this is where we can put things into perspective, right? There's 1 point separating Last Esports and LP, for instance, right? Now that one single point is worth €100. 1 point. That's a lot of money for 1 point, right? So. Can they get 1 point? Sure, why not, right? This could be the match in which we see them not only get 1 point, but actually catch up and surpass the players there from Last Esports. So if LP can do it, they'd be on a pretty good standing. And of course, that could also lead to them knocking on the door of that potential third place. So we'll see how it is going to go and where these teams will be taking us to, as we are going to be starting off with a nice little bit of hot and heated aggression up into Lipovka.
I swear we've had these same circles, or sorry, not circles, plane paths yesterday. They've been very central, just like east to west or west to east, pretty much going from Lipovka to George Pole the entire time. So, I mean, these teams have played around with these planes before, so it shouldn't be too big of a surprise. But yeah, Lipovka, as you said, we have 3 teams there currently. It's a bit messy. Moneymakers are going to go for the typical drop location of Rozok. As here we go, the fight's happening over there. I believe General Duchov is going to be over there. And yes, so many limbs going down in Lipovka currently, so you really got to be careful. No recall towers here, unlike Rondo. So any casualty you suffer will be following you until the very bitter end of this game. So you just got to be careful as Moneymakers, yeah, just big chilling with their supercars. Oh, yeah.
Quick, easy 1, 2, 3 for them over there. But it's interesting to see Heaven potentially being center zone, right? I want to see some flying cars. I want to see some shenanigans happening over on towards that compound, but that would probably take a little bit of... Ooh, look at Gwit though. Nice takedown there onto Virgil. I mean, it's not every day that you see the double wielder coming into play, okay? So I just had to speak on that.
Just a little bit of
happening.
ooh.
Yeah.
That's all I heard.
A little bit of ooh is nice every time, but speaking about ooh, look at Matic here, just waiting to see what Last is going to do. And I mean, they've already got 2 eliminations up, so I think Last is proving to be quite a bit of a menace, at least over onto the early stages of this game. But for Motion, I think this is a very important engagement for them, right? They've got 30 points thanks to the 2 eliminations that they've secured so far, but can they lock in more?
Yeah, they've been renamed to Last Esports, and yet they still have the EA Esports previous name, so we need to update that. It's been updated on the website, by the way. If you guys want to check out TETO Games' website, the ones that are putting up this tournament, they are creating a really cool ecosystem for, like, of course, Turkey, but now it's going to be Romania and Poland with these tournaments. So make sure to check them out. Offering great content, and especially also offering individual stats, which a lot of websites don't do, DK. Here, you can just click on a team and it says, oh, right now, looking at the individual players, Default's got 25 eliminations, 20 elims for Kovic, Havlikaner's got 22, and Spiker's now got 28. You couldn't do that on other websites. No. Only on TETOGames.com.
Link in the description.
Is it? Maybe it is. I don't want to lie. Is it?
No, already checked.
It is. He is correct.
No, but it's cool having all the stats, right? I mean, we always enjoy stats, right? Looking at numbers and figures and things, always such a great thing to have here. But speaking about numbers and figures, well, Motion is going to have to figure out how they're going to get this jump over onto last over here. Kebab, as you called him yesterday, Khabib right over there, just holding up in his little compound, now getting ready to move out. But I like the way that Motion is starting to kind of just expand their reach here. They've got that 3-1 split. But now, can they do anything with that split? That's going to be the important part.
I mean, I'm sure Ked is going to want to strike if he has the opportunity of doing so. Start, oh, actually, taking that early game fire seems in the replay. And able to find himself some juicy early eliminations. Here we go, though. Last Esports in the car, trying to get the hell out of here. And they should be able to do so successfully. As okay, General Dushov just going to get completely blasted into oblivion by Marino. But that smoke, very quick reaction from Ked. Going to get his teammate back up. Are we going to be seeing the rest of Last re-engage as they do create a little bit of a man advantage? You can see on the minimap on the top right, Khabib and Fragile coming back so quickly. Luckily enough, Ked will be able to get the recall on General Dushov, but now they fully surround the entire team. I think this is a complete counter plan here, DK, that's coming through, and we are going to be seeing Motion in a bit of trouble. Yeah,
they just kicked that table right on down, but we are looking at a different situation here as well with DMC as they do find themselves in a bit of a standoff. As they're trying to push up onto the compound here. Let's see whether or not Dante and the rest of the crew can get that ball rolling, as they need to start somewhere, right? They could be coming in with it over on towards the east, over on towards the west. So far, things looking pretty decent, and there's only 2 players holding onto this compound, but it is going to be a really difficult one to breach here as Sprada gets sprayed right on down. Quick little bit of a response here from Dante, but does follow right in his teammate's tracks. And Start now really needs to do something over here because, well, if they don't, this could be the start of a very tough match for them.
Could be an ending, possibly, if things really don't go well and turn kind of sour real quick. But you can still get his teammates technically, but you have to do it 1v2 and then go for the double recall. I think it's game over. Maybe just try and leave if you can as a solo and kind of redeem this game with a few placement points, maybe eliminations if you're lucky. That would be a risky attempt. But you know what? Some players are ballsy enough to go for it. Maybe some players like Havli kinda would, but as of right now, I would not recommend it to start. Sparta actually going to be taken out for DMC, so yeah, they are going to be bleeding out. Things not looking too good, looking quite grim indeed. As QRX, Motion, and is also going to be last. This fight is still happening, and despite the really cool game plan we just saw unfold under our very eyes, right, DK, it kind of instantly collapsed. Everyone kind of ran away. One of the players got eliminated. Now he's going to be down to end this, just kind of stuck in Lipovka in a 1v4 scenario. And chances are, I don't think he's going to come out winning this one. Even with a few cheeky nades like that, he's got himself the DPS. Could be the clutch weapon he needs. But he's fully surrounded here, taking some damage, and unfortunately will not be going his way whatsoever. That's going to be it for Motion as they get their second... actually, well, I'm lying. That's a 4th elimination here as they completely dominate the entirety of Lipovka.
Yeah, I mean, they really put that plan into motion, so good on them, right?
Stop it with the motion jokes, DK. I'm going to lose it. I'm having an aneurysm.
It's okay. It's okay. I know a guy. Well, Lipovka is going to be there for the time being. Ooh, we are seeing Cam Army also stepping up to the plate as they come through with a few sprays that we saw up in the feed there. So the team's definitely starting to get involved in all the chaos and carnage. M&M, though, the money makers, they are rolling down south. Cam Army, it seems like they are in quite a bit of a predicament, right? They've got quite a few positions right there alongside them. But I believe that... I think they were heading into DMC that we had over on towards that far side of Malta. Of course, we'll get into that in a short little bit. But I like how the teams are currently spread out. I mean, Yasnaya looking pretty decent. It is relatively close to center zone. But oddly enough, nobody has moved into Mansion or the surrounding area.
Yeah, Mansion is going to be free. I mean, you wanted to see people go for Heaven. And you called it earlier. It was like, yeah, DK, 100% agree. And nothing really came of it. So far, teams are... Maybe because... it went there so early, and because of the plane path, maybe some teams that are rotating late are expecting teams to already have taken that as their main compound. Not the case currently. It's completely free. Here you go, though. It's going to be Cam Army on the fight with none other than Moneymakers. Not a team you really want to crash with. Or on, should I say, as Havik kind of putting down his teammate. A bit of a misclick, I believe. And now it's just going to be down to a solo player, Cam Army fully engaged, fully committed to this fight onto Spike, trying to eliminate Moneymakers early on. I think they know that this is Moneymakers, so why the hell not? Why not eliminate the #1 ranked team in this game so far? A Spike, very low. Hopefully does have a first aid for himself as Sayar jumping out. And yeah, they want a piece of this one here. They want a piece of the Moneymakers, DK. They're not going to leave until they know this team is 6 feet under.
Well, I mean, they have the numbers to pull this off, so let's see, can they get the job done? But they're going to have to be really quick about it, as we can see. KRX just waiting in the wing here as well. This is a difficult one to figure out which is which, because both KRX teams have 3 eliminations up, but this is going to be go time. Oh, beautiful play here, as 3Z makes that look super easy as they push up, clear it out. But now the blue is going to come nipping at their heels.
If you blinked, you might have missed it. I believe Ozrox went for a third party and got third partied in their third party by Anno. And then they just lost 2 players, and you can see the 2 of the players are just like, okay, we're just going to skedaddle the hell out of Dodge, get the hell back into prison, into shelter area, and hopefully get a few more placement points. As actually, we're looking at the minimap. DK, your wish has now become reality. A team is indeed in heaven, and it's going to be GR Esports, a previous chicken dinner team from Game 1 on Rondo. And with that position, could be looking for a strong game once again.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can hold on, as we do have motion already right there alongside them. Oh, but Cab Army, though, getting absolutely blazed into pieces, as Anor is holding up a very aggressive line here. But both teams, of course, fighting out on the edge of this blue. It is, fortunately for them, only stage number 2, so the blue is not going to be too devastating just yet. But let's see whether or not Rogo and the rest of the team here can actually get this show somewhere, right? Is it going to end up with them landing all the hits they're looking for, or are they going to be able to rotate out away from this blue and continue further into the zone? It does seem like for now they are focusing on the aggression. I mean, it makes sense, but you don't want to spend too much time here, because it actually could end up being quite a costly engagement. But those barriers got to watch for them. Oh, the sprays are in. Cabrera. Beautiful reaction here.
I think he thought he was on Rondo for a second when he can destroy the terrain, but no, not in this map. Not Erangel. It's not updated yet. Maybe in the future, but as of right now, that is not the case. As a really good hold here. Anno able to keep 4 players barely alive, but alive nonetheless. You know, they're still kicking, so they hopefully are going to be able to find a few first aid kits to heal up fully. As here we go, having a final POV of Heaven itself. As I said earlier, GR Esports are going to be the ones holding down the fort, but it does shift away in favor of prison / Lipovka / mansion area. And actually, I'm looking at WLG. Maybe a wide eastern rotation would be a great game plan to approach this position. There's some replays still happening here, and yeah, you can see on that mini-map play from Ozrox is looking so confident, and then Anno came up and just ruined everything. It was a good play too, in my opinion, DK. I don't know if you agree. I think Ozrox had a good idea, but another team had the exact same idea, and that then becomes a bad idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, does it really? Because they say great minds think alike, right? So
it's plagiarism. You know, that's what it is.
I don't know. You know,
I'm joking.
If it was a few independent individuals all coming up with the same idea, you know, if it works, it works. Ooh, interesting to see the meds. Oh, look at that, the legs right on the bonnet there. Like
he's bobsleighing.
You know, yeah, dude. That's what happens if you get if you want to ensure you don't get cold feet. Just put them up on the bonnet there. I mean, you're not gonna have any trouble getting out of. Well, maybe you're gonna struggle quite a bit to get out of this car, because where are your legs poking through though?
It's Team Poland, didn't he? Winter Olympics in Italy. Guys, bobsleighing. It's WLG. No, that was funny. I don't know what happened there, but you know what? I have the exact skin, and I know for my car skin that does not do that. So I think it's just him. He's just built different. Here we go, though. GR leaving Heaven very early, by the way. Very quickly leaving. They don't want to play edge. They want to try and play as central as humanly possible. And that's going to result in them having to go on and crash onto QRX, as one of the players of QRX jumping down from the rooftop, but getting punished pretty much instantly. As GR now able to make the numbers dwindle on their opponent's side. The nade's going to be raining through. That's a decent nade bounce against the roof, but it does not result in a knock. But now you did maybe a little bit of damage, maybe just scare them away, make it known that you are not in a safe position. He's holding down the staircase and looking to find himself the 1v2, but he's not even given a chance to get a single elimination here. That's going to be GR Esports up to 2 eliminations and having, in my opinion here, one of the strongest compounds in this entire current circle.
I mean, it is a very strong compound to hold, but did you see that quick reflex from Kashi? Like he leaned out, took the shot, came back as if nothing happened. Like literally, if you blinked, you missed it. It was that. Yeah, it was like bam, done. Like wow. I need to have some of what they're having for breakfast as well. I mean, we really need to find out what the meal plan is, right? For a lot of these players. Like, what do you eat? Because man, it looks effective.
What do you eat to be that good? What do you think they eat to be that good, actually?
Ooh. Huh.
I don't know why lasagna came to mind. Which doesn't make sense. That's not it's not a healthy food.
I mean,
but...
yeah. I mean, pasta, like, usually athletes take it the day before they need to go do something, right? They're carb loading. So that kind of makes sense. So I don't think you might maybe be too wrong with that, but I don't know if, you know, playing a game on your phone is necessarily something that you need to carb load for. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But who knows, right? Who are we? We're here talking about what they're doing. We don't really know what they do outside of this. Even if this is the real Kitsune or not.
Spaghetti. Sorry, I lost in thought. Sorry. Here we go. Yeah, Kitsune, the real or the fake one. We have no idea, but he's going to be fuming in this car. And they're just chasing him down right now. He's not having a good time. As he's going to be able to hide behind it. Alpi now just kind of running away for their life. As Anno just like, this is just not worth it. We're losing so much precious time on this fight, trying to just run down the players of Alpi. Let's get the hell out of here and get back into the play zone, which they currently are in the circle, which is not the case for Alpi. So maybe just delaying the fight a little bit further on in this game as they want to try and hold off Alpi out in the blue. But that car, not in working condition. You still have that supercar next to you, so you can make the move with that one. As Alpi, I would say, because you know that the teams north know that you're going to be entering that position as Alpi, I would even recommend going for a wide western rotate, because there at least teams do not maybe expect you to be coming in. Whereas the southern side, for me, is just like completely done. It's game over. Don't even attempt in the first place. So western rotate for Alpi would be a great approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. I mean, yes, we do have Ked lurking over onto, well, heaven, right? Has rotated out all the way out of zone. Maybe to go do what I do, go loot. But yeah, I would have to agree. The western rotate could potentially work out quite well for them, especially looking at the terrain, right? Because you have quite a few hills in this region as well. So if you move out into the open, you can find a really decent position to kind of just hide yourself in, right? You don't necessarily have to be positioned in a compound, and so you could really look to capitalize on this terrain. Now it's all going to be down to whether or not that is going to be the strategy for the teams here. Pros, though, taking an interesting 2-1 split. It does seem like Rishu is going to be looking to just bring the team over to that spot. Or maybe they've decided that that's not maybe where they want to go. But WLG, this is their opportunity. Looking to gain a few points because they've not found any so far in this match.
Yep, you got to get something done eventually. You lost Throne. There was a kind of a leader in that previous game on Rondo for them. So losing that is definitely going to be a hindrance. But they got hate most. Still also looking to make things work out for his team. And they're going to be looking to breach forward. Make sure to do so together in tandem. Otherwise, you might be having a bit of a struggle party in front of you. As there you go. They breached it. They're inside. What was that? What exploded? Wait, there was a bike inside the house?
Yep.
Wait, was that intentional? Wait, I've never seen that. That's a crazy trap they set up. What?
Oh, look at the spray though. This guy on the money. This is GR now rotating to a very difficult position, but quick reflex is coming in here yet again. It's now Ninja. Looking to see if they can pull this all together. Gentleman coming through with a quick cheeky flank. Does spot Biscay, but now it's going to be that showdown. The S12Ks comes out and down they go. Biscay with the risky play. Ninja jumping off the height, gets the hit, and that is it. GR up to 8 eliminations. They've lost pretty much the entire crew here.
Yep, except for Ninja, everyone else is going to be right back into the lobby. So, still a decent compound here, a decent entry point. They're not going to be able to hold on to it for too long because the blue is going to be encroaching on their position very soon. But still, Ninja takes a win. They're up to, what was that, 8 eliminations. They're getting at least 1 placement point this game. A bit more deeper into this game, and they will be getting still a double-digit game, which is more than enough if you are GR Esports. Though, on the southern side, Motion, you said it, Ked was scouting forward for a long period of time over to the west to make sure there was no big wide rotation to kind of surprise them and catch them off guard. Here, they slowly regrouped. They're looking to fight, and I think here the big fight is going to make sure that none of those southern teams will be able to breach that southern circle position. So I want to look at Motion, what they're going to do, because they're going to have a very pivotal moment happening in the next 30 seconds to a minute worth of time.
Yeah, there's I mean, they do still have a decent number of players left in this match. We could say the same thing for Bros here. So this is an interesting one, because yesterday Bros, they popped off right in this match. Match number 2 yesterday. So are they going to look to repeat that yet again? Of course, we'll find out very soon. In the meantime, we do have a few solos that are going to be looking now to reclaim a little bit of that territory as Bad Boy starts to move up. We've got Ninja right there alongside them. We do have Khabib also holding over on towards that western side, but the spray is just so relentless into Bad Boy. He escapes the one spray down and potentially rotates right up into the next. As you can see, the Bros now having a very clear line over on towards Bad Boy. A very difficult position to rotate in, and no major coverage at this point yet.
Oh, he's able to go for the first aid. Oh, Khabib. Not spotted. What did you get from that crate? What was it? Definitely not MG3. You would have picked it up otherwise, I think. But yeah, able to make it back behind the rocks. Motion going wide to the west. Just to make sure, I know like this from Motion, just to make sure they don't get in a position where they could have multiple teams around them. They want to try and just play the edge and kind of force their way inwards. That's a pretty good eye-gelling decision, in my opinion. Ninja, Supercar, also looking to make his push in. I would say going in with a car would be a bit risky. Maybe try and just snake your way in. Right now, as Khabib is still not spotted out. He's right behind them! Behind Ked and General Dushov. And he's not moving an inch. He's not going to budge. He's just waiting for them to make a mistake. But he does have one nade, which, if he can get a knock with a nade, transitioned into a big spray down, that's an easy 1v2. But he gets spotted out by Ked. And the surprise factor is now gone. That's an elimination. That's some extra placement points going the way of Motion.
Yeah, I was about to say that's really good camouflage, and then, well, turns out there wasn't any. So, well, unfortunate to see that one end. But here we go. 6 teams left. Is it going to be Ninja held all the way down on that far southern side? Doesn't have to move too far to get themselves back into the zone. But I think Motion are feeling quite comfortable here because they know that the entire western side is pretty much under their control, right? Everything behind them, they know is clear, so they don't have to stress about that. And, of course, they'll be able to see anybody rotating up towards them. But now I'm going to be looking over on towards WLG, right? Just ahead of Motion. Will we see Motion potentially try and breach? Are they going to try and aggress in that direction? Or is this now the opportunity for WLG to lock it down, to take full possession of this western side?
As of right now, it seems like that will be the case. Motion, though, still ripping up these teams apart. Ninja able to make his way into the circle. Still in the play zone currently, despite it shifting into circle number 6. Rashu also behind that kind of distance. He's hoping to just have... Actually, this is a massive spread coming out from Bros. In my opinion, way too big. Very vulnerable to full-on breach, which is exactly what Motion are currently doing. They're getting closer and closer to Rashu. And Yushi couldn't really fully assist it. So I think that here, if they can, it would be time for them to regroup. And Rashi's doing exactly that. Thank you so much. That was the glaring issue in this position. And they fixed it pretty much in the matter of seconds. Really good game plan from Bros. And now, hopefully, we'll be able to have a better opportunity to win this fight against the team of Motion.
I think that ridge that they find themselves behind, if they were on top of the ridge as opposed to behind it, that split could maybe have worked out a little bit better because it would allow them to see more of what's happening ahead of them. But now, yeah, I gotta agree that regroup is looking quite good for them. Now it's going to be up to Rashu to see whether or not they can actually follow through and bring a little bit of that support all the way from the edge of zone. Matic, though, here for Motion is going to be riding the smokes, looking for any kind of entry point. And while they're making all this noise over here, we do see even more movement happening over on towards that western side as well, right? Just kind of closing up behind Motion. So if Motion's not careful, Max, they can really find themselves in quite the predicament.
Yep, could be a little bit of an issue here if they do not try and fix this issue. I think that at some point just got to fully commit to one fight. Or we fight to the west, or we fight to the east. And they do trying to send it over to the east on the Bros. But it does not go their way. Ked out of this game entirely. Down to just a trio currently in motion. And now Rashi went back for the split. You can see they know they're in full control. And Iga just gets an easy double wipe. No one can stop Rashi on that split. Ibiza does... Oh, okay. Apparently someone can. It's Ibiza. As he puts a bullet right through his thick, thick skull. But Motion are going to be out. And I think here... There was a very good premise, a really good setup for Motion, DK, but they just didn't execute upon it, got very complacent, and just allowed teams to punish them instantly here. Motion, hopefully, can learn from this, because for me, there was a great opportunity, but the execution was just way too sloppy.
I think if this engagement happened in an area where the terrain was a little bit different, maybe a little bit more flat or a bit wider, or it could have gone completely different for Motion. But I think what kind of led to their downfall was the fact that Bros have this ridge line that they can now turn as a tool, right? They kind of use the ridge in their favor as opposed to where they found themselves earlier, with the ridge kind of being part of the problem for them. So Motion missed opportunity on that, but now it's going to be just Zenith. And of course, Bros now looking to clear it out. WLG also now looking to swing into action as they do find Stunia. So 1 down, 3 more to go. And WLG going to be looking to go for gold on this one.
Hopefully going to be the case. Here we go. The Olympics in full effect once more. Oh, Bill of Utility, Chuck, left and right. Circle going to be favoring the Bros themselves. WLG, I would say, don't get involved in this fight. Get in the cars if you can, rotate to the north or even the eastern edge. That would be a way better one. Or third party this fight if it goes in full swing, which as of right now, it seems like that's going to be the case. Rashu's just on an absolute tear this game. Already up to 4 eliminations. Maybe even more if you can confirm those eliminations on the other squad right up against them. But Bros going to have one player knocked away, and this might be the opportunity WG was waiting for. You do have, well, not really a man advantage. It's going to be even Steven, because it is going to be turned into a 3v3, but this is going to be your chance to maybe push up, rock up onto Bros and take home this chicken dinner by force. But they're still very hesitant, DK. They're not sure. Do we play passive? Do we play aggressive? Things have gone very silent. Maybe they got the res onto Grasp. They don't have that information, unlike us. So they're just making sure that whatever decision they commit to, it has to be the right call.
I mean, WLG definitely had the health advantage, right? If they pushed in a little bit, trying to clear it out, they could have found themselves a few additional eliminations along the way as well. But, I mean, with WLG now taking so long to respond to this, it's given Bros the opportunity to kind of bring themselves back on their feet, right? As you can see, those health bars at a minimum back up to 75%. So this is now, as you said, kind of even Steven, but Bros now have the advantage yet again. They have 4 players versus the 3, and they know exactly where to find WLG.
Oh, Yushi's off angle is deadly. If they don't have intel on Yushi's angle, this is done. This is game over. That angle alone is just going to completely deny them so many opportunities. And hopefully he's just going to stay silent. So it's down to WAG. Did they hear the car make it to this position? Do they know Yushi's still holding the angle? If not, I think this is going to be game over. This angle alone could be the death of WLG. As we look at Jinga here. Oh, this rock is broken. Come on, man. I mean, you have the rock in a perfect angle where it gives you cover. A little bit more elevation with that third-person perspective to get easy information. And when you have to spray, you just peek over. And it's easy, man. It's so easy. Here you go. Peeks over. Just take a decent beating to the hands of Hate Most. Kind of surprising. But it does show the WLG will be fighting tooth and nail, DK, to go for this win, hopefully.
But now we'll see also what the IGLing is coming through from Bros, right? Because they could go with a few different tactics here, right? They could get all the players over on towards that southern side to be the distraction then for Yushi to move in and just to get that wipe on through. But with Rashu also just creeping closer and closer, they could be looking to line up something exactly like that. I mean, if Yushi now moves out, he almost has a beautiful line of sight right in onto the side there of WLG. But Elas is going to make things a little bit more challenging. And now with the addition of that blue zone, that's going to be closing very soon. Whatever they do, they have to do it quickly.
You've got to be quick about it. You've got to be Speedy Gonzalez. Yushi not trying to push up. I like he's just, yeah, I want to hold this position the entire time. Not get involved until I just know I'm going to at least hit a single elimination pretty much instantly. Jingo still had some nades. I like he held onto that utility until the very bitter end of this game. Same for Yushi. He's got himself 2 pieces of utility followed up by a Molotov. So he can deny a player's position behind possibly a rock or a tree with that Molotov. Still very good in these open-ended finishes where all you have really as a defensive position are those rocks and trees. But WLG, they don't have cars anymore to make that push. They have to just win purely off of their aim alone, DK, finding that opening knock to then follow up with a full-on push. As of right now, they just haven't been able to find it.
I think especially for Bros, yeah, this was an interesting tactic that they went for in anticipation of a potential zone shift, which we know is not going to happen because it's stage number 9. But they took quite a bit of a spread. So wherever that zone could have gone, if there was one to go, they would have a player in that position, and so they could quickly just close up that position. But now all the pressure is riding here on WLG. Can they do it? Can they lock it down? Can they hold the defensive line? I mean, Yushi is just inching closer and closer. Still, no idea here for WLG that Yushi is just holding over on their flank. But this could be a beautiful surprise play. Hate Post is going to be testing the water, looking for those hits. Down they go, and that is now the element of surprise right out the window as Bros now need to just full send it on forward.
Beautiful shots from Yushi and Rashu. As now it's down to Alas, and alas, I think this is going to be the end, and indeed it will be the case. Well done indeed, Bros, taking home the first Erangel chicken dinner of the evening in very slow style, but you know what? A style nonetheless that they're able to execute to its full potential extent and taking home that win. And I love it. Rashu's off angle sometimes were a little bit too ballsy here, DK, but at the end he was hitting some significantly strong shots that just was able to overwhelm Motion, then at the end able to overwhelm the side of WLG. And I would say he is the main reason they were able to get that win. So Rashu in particular, MVP in my opinion of this match.
Yeah, I mean, you got to commend what the Bros have been doing as well, right? Just absolutely phenomenal effort that they've been bringing onto the foreground here. I think this might potentially also be this is their second victory as well. So GR and Bros, the only 2 squads with 2 chicken dinners under their belt. So some pretty impressive plays. But I mean, the last few stages of the zone, just so challenging. Again, just showing how one little hill could delay any strategy by quite a bit. And I mean, it wasn't even the biggest hill. It wasn't like Everest like we saw yesterday, right? Just a little mound there. And these teams trying everything that they can tactically find to get themselves into that winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, with that said, we do have the leaderboards here, DK, to check out how big of a dent was made into our big top 3 squads. And unfortunately, not a massive dent. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm going to take that back. No, it is quite a decent dent that was made by Bros here going into it. They have 61 points. They're just going to be, 16 points away from Ozrox Esports in our big top 3 podium position. So Bros actually playing that catch-up game perfectly. And as you said, one of the only few teams here with GR Esports to have 2 chicken dinners under their belt. So very, very nicely done. I wonder if they can try and maintain that momentum moving forward, because Bros, that would be an upset for the books, for the history books here, going into these always on Polish monthly finals season 1. And last esports are not going to be able to do too much this time around either. So top 3 is looking pretty solid still here, DK, but we're having a bit more competition, which is getting me so bloody excited for our next 3 matches.
I mean, for Bros, that was 20 points max. That was a 20 bomb that they dropped in that last match. As you can see, right, it is still possible to close up gaps to kind of stop those leaks so they aren't points leaking out into places that you don't want them to go. So is there anybody that is going to be able to catch up and make it any further up into the top 6? Of course, Cam Army, currently the gatekeepers, but we'll see who's going to be able to gain entry.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that's going to be going down. But with that said, guys, if you want to see who can play catch-up to our big top 3, stick around. 3 more matches still to come your way. 1 more Erangel, 2 more Miramars. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
Gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka geçiyorum.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam iyi herhalde. Baksanıza. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka geçiyorum.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam iyi herhalde. Baksanıza. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu anda. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü?
gördüm. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Alvarez'e yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya.
Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredesin? Başka geçiyorum.
Tamam. Biliyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
For the final time here, we are going to be stepping on the grassy pastures once more and see who will be taking home their final chicken dinner on this heavily contested map of Erangel. Great matches so far throughout the entirety of today and yesterday, DK, and now the competition is truly fierce at the top with Bros getting themselves their second chicken dinner of the entire event here for the Polish edition of the Always On tournament. Can they keep the ball rolling, DK, going into Erangel once again? Because if they do so, I'm telling you, a new dog is going to be on the podium here alongside the big squads of Ozerox, GRX, and of course, the lads of Moneymakers.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they could, especially looking at the amount of points they need. Only 16 points away. So if Bros keep the ball rolling, I mean, they might even knock Ozerox off their spot out of the podium position. So I'd love to see that. But yeah, I mean, there are still a few teams. I mean, Alpic could also potentially maybe look to get a little bit of something happening here. They do have 47 points, so they are quite a way away from catching any of the podium positions, but they're only 2 points away from making it up into the prize money position. So if they want a share of the prize pool, they know what they got to do.
And that's win games. Hopefully they can do that, Albie. But I'm very impressed with how some teams have been able to perform so far on this second day's worth of action. I feel like the overall, and I don't know if you have the same, kind of view as me on this thing, but like the overall philosophy of this lobby is to play a lot more aggressive, I have the impression, compared to day one. Day one is like kind of teams finding their footing in the finals, but now teams are just like, okay, YOLO, we're sending it. And it's for some teams like Bros in particular, it's been working massively in their favor.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially based on the performances that we saw happening yesterday, a few teams seemed a little bit cautious, right? Today, coming into the final day of action, they know that, well, caution needs to be thrown to the wind now, because if they continue with that same approach, they're not going to get themselves into a strong position, right? As we know, these teams are playing not only for the bragging rights of winning the first season, but also for their share of the prize pool. So, yeah, I think there's a lot up for grabs. And especially looking at how close the point situation is getting, those points are actually worth a lot of money.
Yeah, every single time. Like, we could be seeing another tiebreaker situation, DK. I know that I've covered a lot of tiebreaker situations. I know that you covered a lot of tiebreaker situations in your casting career in PUBG Mobile Esports. And we're probably going to see a lot more in the future. So every single point counts. If you can confirm an elimination, don't even think about it twice. Unless you're literally on one bullet and you have a player coming your way, then maybe think about it twice. Otherwise, maybe make sure to confirm that elimination, because it can still take you a very, very long way indeed. It sucks, DK. I've seen teams miss out on like global events because of a tiebreaker situation. And you don't want to be that team going into these kind of situations. So hopefully, we'll see some teams just get a little bit more desperate for all those points.
Yeah, and I mean, especially seeing that, there is a great opportunity for anybody to still acquire as much points as they could potentially need. I mean, we're not going to be talking about the team sitting on 123 points, right? We won't be mentioning them right now. But I do believe that there's still a big opportunity for all the other teams to catch up. I mean, looking at the approach coming through from GR Esports, for instance, right? They've closed that gap considerably, up to 97 points already. So if they continue to just keep that consistency going through the last 3 matches of the day, will they be able to catch the team up in front? Maybe, if the team up in front continues to score no points, but if they do, it might become a little bit more challenging. So there's always that extra element of surprise coming through here. So I'm curious to see what exactly the teams are going to be doing, and of course, we're going to be seeing pretty soon where exactly that flight path is going to be taking us.
Yeah, I mean, also the element of surprise is going to be the plane path. Yeah. Plune. I don't know. The word's complicated. But you know what's also complicated? Bloody PUBG Mobile Esports, man. It's real rough there on the battlegrounds. So we are going to get ready to dive into our third match of the day. The last Erangel of not only today, but also the entirety of the Polish side here for the always-on monthly final Season 1 tournament. So make sure to open up your eyes nice and wide to not miss out on any juicy action happening in this match. Playing path, a little bit different. Finally, DK, not just like an even Steven playing path going from the east to the west or from the west to the east in the dead center of the map. No. It's Novo going right next to Severny. And we did have a lot of teams actually drop into the far western side of the map. But this time around, might have to think about stretching their drop or going for a completely different drop in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, you always have to have that backup drop location locked and loaded and ready to go, because the zone and the flight path is always such a surprise. I think that's part of what makes PUBG so exciting, right? There's always that element of uncertainty coming through, right? You always have to be ready for pretty much everything and anything all at the same time. So, yeah, teams getting themselves ready. Ooh, that was an interesting thing here by General, managing to grab that vehicle, and off they go. Especially looking at motion, I think they chose a really decent drop location. So far removed from any other team, they're not going to get pushed on anytime soon, especially with the zone sitting a little bit more down towards the southern side.
I like it. I dig it. We'll have to see how things are going to be working out for them. But yeah, they are getting close to Severny right now, I'm seeing, for some of the players. So how are QRX going to have to deal with that one? Otherwise, yeah, nothing. I'm trying to look at like these rotations. We do have finally one team then, GRX, yeah, on top of military base itself. We didn't have any teams because of the previous planes really playing military much. And because of this phase 1 circle, we could in a really, really like full extreme scenario, have a Sovnovka military island finish, but you're gonna have to have like 2 to 3 circles head hard shift south in a row. I'm not expecting it, but you know what? We've seen worse. We've seen weirder in the past.
Yep.
So who knows what is going to be going down here. But yeah, looking back at the main feed, we are then going to be having these 2 squads. QRX going to be up against a squad here. And their name slips my mind. So I'm gonna be very professional and check it. Just Zenith. Poliska. There you go. I don't know why. I feel like we haven't said their name often here, DK, if I'm not mistaken, because we don't see them make it far in the games usually. And I say that they're currently in 13th place with only 19 points. So the math be mathing. This has not been a good tournament for them so far.
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting play for them. We have to say that. But let's see whether or not they are going to look to amp up the antics here. Are they going to look to go a little bit crazy? Because, well, I mean, they started off, well, they currently are on 19 points. So close to catching up to Team M, who's 1 point ahead of them, and potentially Invictus, who's 3 points ahead of them. So if they have a good role here, there could be quite a bit of opportunity available for them. They could definitely look to close up a few gaps here, there, and maybe everywhere.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere.
Yes. Like the gummy bears.
What? What? Is this a reference? I don't know. Maybe it is.
No,
maybe it is.
No, it's just they just bounce in here and there and everywhere.
Like the
gummy bears.
But gummy bears stick more than bounce.
No, the actual gummy bears, not the sweets.
Aren't gummy
Never
bears
mind.
sweets? Wait, okay. I thought they were
It's
only
okay.
sweets.
It's okay.
Are we talking about real sentient gummy bears? Okay, that got really weird. I don't know. We're going to move on from that one. Looking at DMC, spotted up by Invictus, that have shown some really good fights every once in a while, but it's like kind of a flash in the pan situation for Invictus. I'm not really witnessing big, consistent plays from this team. It's kind of upsetting me. I do want to see a little bit more from these guys. Here you go, Start. His feet was peeking out. Gonna have a little bit of a sore ankle tomorrow morning. So I think an M4 would definitely do that to you. But Jay still holding down this angle. Maybe waiting for the rest of Invictus to kind of set up shop on this fight, clear the solos, because they're keeping them very split right now. Because of these angles, Jay is stopping them from really regrouping, and Invictus getting 2 easy eliminations. 1 to Ace, 1 to Jay. And now I think they're just going to regroup, commit to the 2 other players, and take an easy 2v4 DK. This is a very good, very smart strategy executed by Invictus to almost flawlessly in that position.
Yep. I mean,
wait, where are they
this
going?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I don't know.
They're going over there to do the thing with the other thing, and then Jay comes in rolling. So this is about that go time now, as Last is going to look to rotate up as well. Fragger, let's see if they can stay true to their name. But for Maureen, this is going to be a pretty tough spot, right? Got a nice little bit of elevation. Ooh, parking. Nelson is flying on in and into the building. Makes that look so effortless, though. I mean, DMC, they didn't even see that one coming.
This is closer to what I was expecting, but yeah, we do have Last Esports that kind of the thorn in their side that we're really not expecting a team to go for an early fight, because this is the middle of Circle 1. We're not even going into Circle 2 yet. We're still in Phase 1, and the team is looking for third party in the early stages. Volt J, the 2 main fraggers of the team, currently eliminated early on. I don't believe a res is possible here, so Alzen and Ace may be worth just counting your winnings and getting the hell out of here if you have a car. But I don't think Last are going to allow this to happen, DK. I think they're just hungry for those eliminations. They see their position Last. If you want to initiate a comeback, you've got to get these big elim games, and that is exactly what they are doing. One more knock comes on through. It's Ace as a solo. He has no meds remaining. He's got a tier 1 helmet and a tier 1 vest. I think this is going to be game over for Invictus here, unless we see the clutch of the century here with the UMP, and that Molotov is going to spread on the staircase, and that is going to be game over. Invictus out in 15th place.
Yeah, they got evicted right then and there. Out they go. I mean, I love the brutality. It's amazing. It's fun. And I could hear that sigh right through the screen, Max. Thank you so much for that. But, I mean, there's so much action in the early stage of the game. We are going to be looking up into Saverni as well now to see what the QRX team are going to be looking to do here. They still do find themselves up alongside the players from Just, but are they going to be able to find Just scores to get that rush in? Because the blue is going to be taking away their health, and they are super far away from that zone.
Stevnia has got himself a really good angle here behind that ridge. The thing is, this is a very nadeable ridge too. I believe QRX, I mean, at least for one of their players, don't really have that utility. It's going to be very cautious how things are going to be playing through. Here you go, Cam Army, though, looking for a fight. It's going to be Team M extremely split between these two positions near Shelter. And Hitman also, I don't know who hit that one from Cam Army, but that was some pinpoint accurate sprays. Trying to go for the res, and this is giving them an ample opportunity to go for the push. Come on, Cam Army, you need to take this opportunity. You already got 2 eliminations. You could be looking to double that and give it to the next person. As I think they are going to come indeed onto Shelter. As we look back at the map feed, is going to be shifting on Pachinki. Not Fields, Pachinki Hill, which is my favorite location here. DK going onto the entire map of Erangel. And yep, Cam Army do get the 2 extra limbs, and they're now up to 3. Where was the last one? Did someone steal it? What? Ooh, where did it go?
It went up in a poof of smoke. Just went.
Who did that?
I don't know. Batman. It was Batman. Yeah, gotta be. But I'm curious with the Pachinki Hills now coming into play, who's gonna look to take up that position? Does seem like Bro's already going for that, but now it is gonna be just Zenith up here looking to wrap up Savoni. Ooh, they could get a pretty nade right over there. Is it gonna find its way in though? Beautiful spray coming through. Estunia is gonna be locking that one up. 1 down, 1 more to go. And it is looking pretty shaky here now for QRX. But this is a costly play for Zenith. Yes, they've found themselves 3 eliminations, but they are losing health like it's nothing. So can they get back into safety on Dimax?
I've had enough of this fight. It's been taking way too long. So or you commit to it early or you leave. I don't care. But like the indecision here is crazy. Landress, huge Molotov is going to be connected on one of the players of QRX. It's just Zenith here. Well, to count possibly their winnings. After that fight, still taking 1 casualty, but it should be not too big of a hindrance. Last esports also got the Harry Potter Tower controlled, and Matek will fall eventually to that huge headshot spray with the M4. And back into his own car, looking to move on by. Very slow rotations this game. Like this is not a bad circle 2D. I mean, it's on the mainland. It's next to Pachinki, which is very central to the map. And yet we got so many fights happening in the blue. I think these are teams that unfortunately got caught mid-rotation or on their drop locations. And the fight are just taking so long to develop that they're just stuck in the blue and taking a ton of blue zone damage. Yeah,
it's unfortunate to see so many teams getting caught out in this situation. But, of course, there's still a little bit of hope ahead of them as, I mean, several teams have not been able to capitalize on some pretty crazy eliminations, right? Last already, finding themselves 7 elims in just this last match. Baldwin is going to be running over a few opponents as well as the vehicle now comes into play. Camp Army just on the edges here of Potato Hill, but the Moneymakers are going to be looking to at least lock it down on the front line. And center zone, right up in Pachinki Max, is, I think, going to be quite a sweaty spot to be in very soon.
It is going to be. It's going to be the real sweaters at this point. Moneymakers, yep, pushing up onto Potato. Cam Army, you won a game against them just yesterday, going off that Everest finish. And here we go. Moneymakers already up to 2 players knocked to the hands of Cam Army, and they're flushing it out. They don't want to lose out on those possible eliminations. I'd love to see the execution. Havlikana and Kvik now the 2 remaining players. Well, that nade could be looking good. Final nade. He's got also a Molotov to follow through if he really wants to. The nade coming out wide. Does do some nice damage onto SJ. Will not result in the knock itself, unfortunately. SCR with his own Molotov just trying to zone out the entire position for Moneymakers. Okay, I thought he was going to spread for a second, but no. I think that was my POV that was a little bit weird. And here we go. The nades right on the money. Cam Army able to take the win, but can they take the win once again here versus Last Esports as they're looking for another third party? I don't know what it is. Last Party just love third party in fights. They love to get those juicy eliminations and steal them away, and they're doing it here once again.
Yeah, they want to get the last play in on that one. But again, we do see the Moneymakers getting denied any points, right? They got 1 elimination and that's it. They fell out before there was any placement points being awarded to them as well. So things are looking quite interesting here, especially for GR. If they could maybe put in a little bit more points now, right? Ooh, Seyar though, just getting absolutely ripped out of the vehicle. That was almost rude as Cabrera now comes in for a little bit of defense. Does take quite a bit of damage. And now uses the opportunity to get themselves healed up while this vehicle is, at least for the time being, allowing them some really good coverage. Gets a quick confirmation there. It's 1 down, 3 more to go, but Cabrera in a very exposed spot here, and of course trying to carry the torch for the team.
Oh, very good. Go right into the hovercraft to avoid that grenade damage. Jumps on out, but it's just not going to cut it. Kitsune winning the fight in the end. Alp able to get himself their 3rd elimination. And finally here, getting a little bit more involved in the conversation, DK, which is what I was asking for just before this game. Alp typically a very passive early game team here, kind of turning it on its head. And a very interesting UAZ skin there with the corgi head coming out of it. But you know what? I won't judge whatever skin you want. You may have. So we have the replays of the early developments of that fight. And now back over to Ozrox. Inside Pachinki itself, they got a very big spread this time around. I would almost go to say that spread is a bit too big, kind of vulnerable if the team decides to fully commit and crash into the city itself. But as right now, that's not the case. So they can count their blessings and hopefully they will not regret it moving forward.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this position, right? Because we do have the other half of the squad a little bit more over towards that eastern side. And I think, at least for them, it could maybe be a slightly stronger position to try and play off of, right? Because the church is really good when it's on the southern side of the zone. Now, it is smack dab center. So, it's not the easiest position to defend. And as you can see, the other half of the squad starting to spread. Now with the zone shift, the church is looking a little bit better. But they still got to watch out for GR. That's still yet to move in. We do have the players there from QRX. Also just hugging that southern side. So there's still a few lurkers in the wing. Alpi though, I like what they're doing over here. Starting to poke and prod into the Ozrock squad. Looking to see if they can maybe find a little bit of a weakness to gain entry.
I'm thinking for Ozrock, and I don't know what you would say, DK, about it. I would recommend maybe fully committing to the church and just sending the entire team there. I don't know, would you agree or not on that?
I wouldn't. It's going to be a tough one, especially looking at how the spread is from the other teams. I mean, they kind of just want to keep that edge zone information kind of flowing through. But I think once they have the information, then they have to commit to the church, right? Just lock it in and just try and get everything kind of fortified. Because the sooner you can get that defensive structures secured, the more opportunity you have moving forward.
Yep, I would agree. I think that actually sending the entire team in there could be still a really valiant effort. Just because it is a high value position, that church of Pachinki, so maybe worth sending the entire team forward there. We'll see what the game plan is going to be. We'll keep you guys updated as we go deeper and deeper in this match. As in the process, we did have WLG get involved in their very own fight. And a lot of utility was chucked. You can see here, 10 Ogre, all he really has is going to be these 6 smokes, grenades, molotovs, all gone. No more resources on that front. He's going to have to maybe find some in that building. I think he ran around every single corridor in this house, so there's no more loot remaining. I think he stole everything away from the local population. Looking behind them. The thing is, this position, it's not horrible, but I'm seeing a lot of these cars smoke in DK. Without a car, you're not leaving this position alive. It's so open-ended, and if you have teams that position up around you and know you're there, you're just completely done. So as of right now, I would say you want a dominant win, win to maybe some vehicles. As here we go, Elas, I think, knows that he has to be a little bit more desperate in this position. Found some utility. Molotovs himself. Not the way you want to go here, as he's just looking, again, more desperate by the second, looking to breach around the corner with that S12K, but nothing really comes of it.
But I mean, that's actually an interesting engagement happening right there on the building, right? Because it's allowing the rest of the team to get themselves raised up, right? I mean, a good distraction onto Elas. So it's not working in favor of Elas, it's working against Elas. So we'll keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, it is going to be GR Esports now having to defend on that far southern side, as both them and QRX are looking to gain a good bit of entry here. We did see Yuki and the rest of the squad in the previous match finding themselves in a little bit of a situation, but now it is going to be Gentlemen here, and the rest of GR looking to follow through, close it up, and at least assert a little bit of control over on towards the southern side of zone. Again, for GR, not the easiest push that they have to do here.
Yep, it's going to be a bit of a tough one here. They were playing Pachinki Hill early on in this match, and now they have to finally fight and defend their location, and they do just that. 3 eliminations to their name, which really didn't even look like a fight. They were just got an easy engagement, completely surrounded their opponent, and just got himself 3 easy pointers for themselves. So GG well played here for GR Esports. Now, one of the only few teams that shall be entering on the southern edge of this circle. Which maybe Anno could be a little bit of an issue later on, but that is not going to be an issue they have to focus on just yet. Right now, just make sure you can move into the circle while keeping yourself alive. Up north, we're still going to be having WLG. Again, without cars, that rotation is going to be hard. Now you have Last looking their way. You also have the team over to the western side looking their way. I think WLG is going to have a world of trouble to get through if they even just want to survive and make it to the top 5, which as of right now, I would say might be the next team to get eliminated if we don't see a big push coming out in the next minute or so.
Yeah, and I mean, they are going to try it, but they are quite a way away from that top 5 in this match. And, of course, with regards to points. But, hey, GR, the second team to hit 100 points. So they've just broken into the century themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So they are now just 24 points behind the Moneymakers. So we could still maybe see an upset here, Max. GR could make a run for that pole position, but they're going to have to play some close to perfect PUBG for the rest of this match, and of course the remaining 2. Now it is going to be the players there from Just Zenith fitting a lot of that pressure, just raining down as Anno keeps the punches going, one after the other. 2 players down, 1 more left to go, but can they find that follow-up? Can they claim yet another elimination? There's going to be a little bit of that PUBG GTA action coming through here as Anno looks to lock it in.
Oh, the double spray transfer coming out from Rondo of Anno was just absolutely beautiful. Love to see the execution on that play. And now that's going to allow them to now put most of their focus back over onto Last, and they're going to be going farm wide, going to do just a little bit of damage onto Fragger, but not resulting in really too much hurt being dealt on their opponents. So Anno, again, playing it quite split. They still have cars, I would say. You don't have to fight. You've got a safe ridge over to the west. No one is really looking to pick a fight with you right now. Just take it slow. You don't have to fight unless you know you're going to get the easiest elimination we've ever seen in PUBG Mobile Esport. As of right now, you just don't have to fight. You're just not going to get much out of it. So play it slow would be my recommendation. Though, over to Ozrox. Finally, we've seen their POV and they did fully regroup. They do have a little bit of a line to control the full eastern edge. 2 players up north of the church and 2 players in the church right now. Actually, no, just 1 player in the church. No, two players. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, but no, it is a 2-2 split. And they are just going to make sure to hold on to information and maybe, even maybe on the next circle shift here, DK, go for a third party onto GR Esports versus Bros if the circle does shift away from the church area. I think Ozrox here are going to be the team to go for a big game-making play very soon if this fight doesn't fold in the center circle.
I mean, they definitely have the opportunity to do that, but we also are seeing Lost now sitting quite comfortably on 11 eliminations, right? So they've just been super aggressive this whole entire match, and it does seem like that northern position that they have over on the ridge, just overlooking the players there from WLG, has been proving to be quite the fruitful spot for them to take occupancy of. But, of course, we are looking at that zone just closing up a little bit more. Now we find the church almost being on the edge of the zone. I'm not quite sure if blue is fully within this next phase, but now GR, they are going to look to test the waters here as they know Bros are standing between them and a potential entry up into this next zone, looking for a little bit of a compound to move through. But it's going to be quite the challenge to secure this play.
There you go, Ozrox. I knew it was a matter of time before they get involved in this fight. They get an opening knock. Bros now fully clashing with GR Esports, and we are going to have to see a crash eventually, but I think that Bros know they're going to get third party, so they have to commit. They need to eliminate GR Esports now before they open up their backs to Ozrox. So this is a big play. Bros know exactly what their win condition is, and they do it so damn efficiently. They push up, a little bit messy on the entry point itself. You know what? The pump is going to be there to carry them the entire way through. Bros looking good, looking strong as Rashu still survives. They will be winning that fight. But a play of Anno out of nowhere here, coming in, trying to play spoilers for the entirety of Bros as he's trying to clutch up this heal. And I think that he might just have enough time to pull it off. And he is going to go for the 9-second timer. Yushi brought back to life.
I mean, they could bring the whole team up, right? So Bros so far holding out really well. Yushi going for the loot instead of the teammate. Yeah, I know that too well. But it is going to be WLG, though. Still holding up onto the north. Still trying to fight their way up the hill. Is going to be Ozrox trying to lock it in. I don't know if Ozrox is still paying much attention down to the side. Well, it seems like the answer is yes, as Melas is met with quite a bit of a spray here. As the ST comes through with quite the aggression. Now, it is going to be an uphill fight. Right, WLG left with 2 players, 2 eliminations to their name. Elas and Desi. They need to go super, super aggressive if they want to reclaim any kind of territory in the zone.
Oh, spray down. I think Ozrox did fumble this one. They had an easy third-party opportunity onto Bros and GI Esports, and they just decided to push up north on a team that they didn't really have too much information on. I think Ozrox gave this possible chicken dinner away for free. I think they could have at least easily made it into the podium position of this match, but no, it was just not meant to be based on this decision they made. WLG, as you said, just clinging on to life, it seems right now. And trying to get some placement points, which, as of right now, top 5, you're making quite a decent amount of money off the back of those placement points. You should be able to make it pretty decently fine this game. But Bros, they did get the full reset. They're still in the warehouse compound. They've got cars looking to be in pretty healthy conditions too. They're going to get so much intel. And I think that if they time it right, they can even try and go for a third party. Except if Biske of Anno plays spoiler. There we go. The Northern Fight is going to go in full effect. The nades swinging by. Does do some damage, but not resulting in the knock just yet.
But the molly, though. The molly coming in hot. It does seem like we are going to be fighting up on this hill for the time being, as the zone is getting ready to pop as well. I mean, if it moves north, Anno going to find themselves in a very good setup here. But let's see what exactly that zone is going to bring. Bad Boy now could be receiving a little bit of love there as well from the utilities as they start to rain on down. The zone shifts further down south, and it plays in favor of Bros. Max, this is their time to shine now.
Give us the back-to-back win here, DK. It could be happening. The first back-to-back win of any team here for these Polish always on monthly final season 1. How are things going to wrap up? How are things going to unfold? There you go, WLG. Having to start to do something. You can't just try to make your way into the circle, crawling your way every single step of the way. You got to try and get involved in the conversation, which they are trying to do, and they still have a ton of bullets, actually. They were able to loot up a lot from their previous enemies. But that buggy might be their ticket to glory if they can make the cross, if they can find like a lucky position in the circle. Maybe those rocks next to the warehouse, but I think those are already going to be held down by Bros. Yep, indeed, Yushi's going to be exactly in that position next to those heavily contested rocks. This Bad Boy also there for the side of Ozrox, could be playing to ruin the day of WLG. But things are very slow, but you know, we're getting very close to DK to that breaching point, and that's going to be it. Elas sending it forward to the rock. And Yushi with that nade trying to ruin it instantly for Elas. He chucks it. A low throw. Does some damage, but no knock.
Ooh, that was really close, though. I mean, I like this push coming through from WLG. Just slowly kind of trying to leapfrog their way forward up in towards the zone. But unfortunately for them, there's already so much contention on these rocks as Anno now step up. And look at the amount of control they are starting to exert on the zone. Potentially controlling half of the zone already. So this is, again, a beautiful opportunity for Anno to come through with a bit of a bulldoze maneuver here. But now Bros grasp not didn't go just yet. They know that if they continue to just keep the front line going, there could be a potential opportunity for that assist and a quick rebound on their numbers. But now it is going to be the spray here from Maksha as the shots are in and down they go. WLG out for the count. Down to the final 2 teams we are. Max, it is Anno and Bros for the showdown.
Love the use of the M79 by Maxa here from Anno. Really good offensive use as he was able to make his way forward and get himself that easy 1v1 in the pocket. In his pocket. So here we go. Now looking at the other players. Maxa still also got himself that MG3 with the AUG. Double loadout is going to be looking crispy as hell. As Bros with the buggy making over to those, again, these rocks. I believe trying to go for the res onto Yushi, which he should be able to get. Damn, he's able to clutch it last second. As Rashu on the rooftop trying to just slow down the push up of Anno, but they still have center circle control. This has to be an Anno win unless we see one of the biggest clutch plays and outplays now from Bros. I just don't expect to see it currently. But Rashu, still getting some intel. It is going to be a trade-off, and Grasp is indeed going to be taken out of this game entirely. Now turned into a 4v2. Anno, this is their game to lose.
I mean, you got to give it up to Anno, right? A beautiful utilization of the zone. I mean, while the teams were fighting over on the eastern side, Anno just snuck up and got themselves situated. Now they're in such a prime position. They got smack dab center zone, and they can just sit back, not quite relax, but focus purely just on what Bros Esports is going to be bringing to them. They only have 2 players to deal with, right? Rashu and Yushi, but Yushi is going to be utilizing the living goodness out of these rocks. Does take quite a bit of damage, but can they bounce back? Can they continue to keep this fight alive as Anno are looking to just constrict as much of this playable area as they can manage?
Oh, my alarm just rang up there in the distance. Not going to be doing much with that C4. Rashu with actually that smoke could be good, able to claim a little bit more real estate in this circle. Can he get himself the knock onto Biscuit? Biscuit able to just suck up those bullets just fine, and Rashu will be the next to fall. Indeed, Yushi left in a 1v4 desperate situation. He's got himself the S12K and the M4 loadout. Not impossible, but looking hella complicated. They breach over the rock with the MG3, and that is going to be game over. Anno going absolutely bonkers in the ending of this game here, and able to get himself a massive Erangel chicken dinner indeed. Now, is that going to be making a dent into the leaderboards? I believe so, because Anno, we said it, DK, at least I said it earlier, I wanted to see a little bit more aggression in the early to mid-game stage, and they did just that. And that ending play, man, the amount of control they had was second to none. Anno, GG, well played.
Yeah, a Northesis, I guess, right? That's probably
We had to
what
say
the name would sound like, I think. Right, I said yesterday I'll try the name if they won yesterday. Well, I mean, they won today, so there we go. I attempted the name.
Nice.
You can rate it out of 10 in the chat. Be kind. Nah, whatever. Either which way. Very exciting gameplay coming through from these teams. I know getting a very well-deserved victory. And I mean, they worked really hard for that, right? They just played the goodness out of the situation. They kept on just applying the pressure, looking to see how much of the zone they can control, and it paid off, right? It paid off real good at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely paid off. You know what's going to pay off? Also, these leaderboards. Let's check them out and see what the hell is going on in the top and middle pack of these rankings. And yep, it's still going to be Moneymakers, followed up by GI Sports and Ozrox, but the gap is still closing slowly but surely. Anno able to actually overtake Bros by a singular point. So that is almost a tie between 4th and 5th place. And then you drop on down with Last Esports here with their 63 points. Though not much movement. QRX team, Devil May Cry, QRX Esports is like they've almost given up at this point. We're not seeing anything of value in these matches. And same for Motion. They had some good moments, but unfortunately not able to really escape the terrible, terrible, hellish second half of the leaderboards. So yeah, still, Moneymakers, GI Sports, Ozrox Esports. If you had to look at a team to set up a little bit of a comeback and an upset, DK, do you think Anno could be that team? Maybe Bros? Who are you paying attention to?
I would say both, right? Because Anno responded quite aggressively in this last match. Bros played a beautiful game in the match before. So I think out of those two, both of them have a really good chance to bring in quite a bit of aggression coming into the Miramar map. So let's see if they can do it, Max, because they are getting close. Right, they're getting really, really close. And as we also saw, there's only 22 points currently between 1st and 2nd place. So we could also maybe, depending on Miramar, have a bit of an upset, have a bit of a change with regards to who's sitting at the top of the leaderboard.
It really could happen. I mean, GR Esports, if they can do some big games going into Miramar, maybe they could be the team to take it away from the money makers. But you know what, Bros? Paying attention to them. I think they're one of the most improved teams here going into these monthly finals for the Always On Polish tournament. With that said, guys, our break is coming up very soon, so stick around as we go into our last 2 matches of the entire event going on to Miramar. See you guys in just a little bit.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games Always On. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam iyi herhalde. Baksanıza. İyi. Yok iyi şu an. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başına geçiyorum.
Tamam. Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldım dur.
Ben çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam iyi herhalde. Baksanıza. İyi. Yok iyi şu an. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve son yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve son yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev...
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi...
Who's going to be the Lisan Al Gaib here going into the dunes of Miramar? It's time. We have 2 more matches coming up your way, guys. And hopefully we'll be seeing if Moneymakers can hold down the fort or if another team will be able to do a successful breach and take home the trophy in the last few more matches. Still Maxman, still DK, ready to break down these games. DK, Moneymakers, maybe the fumble of a lifetime because, man, oh man, these teams in the middle pack are hungry for that top place.
Yeah, there's one team especially making me think a little bit of like a Tiger or something because they're going, you know, grr, coming in quite aggressive. So, yeah, I mean that sounded so scary. I know, like even my chair was shaking. Ooh,
So
oh
smooth.
no! But I mean, realistically looking at it, like I honestly think if GR locks in, right, if they just lock in for the next match. And potentially the last match as well, right? They could very comfortably not only catch up, but surpass what the Moneymakers have been doing so far. And I mean, it's not that like the Moneymakers have been making it exceptionally difficult today for a lot of the teams, right? Yes, they got in, they secured themselves 23 points, as we saw at the start of the day. And then, did they go to the bank or what happened?
They're trying to cash out early, but you need to wait for the tournament to end for the check to clear. And as of right now, it's not clearing whatsoever. But now, I agree. If we do see GR Esports locking for the next 2 games here, I think they could take it away. But now, if you're GR Esports, do you possibly start to think of maybe hot dropping onto Moneymakers and just try and ruin it for them? Like, I'm not saying I want to see it. This might be a thought going through their minds right now. It's like, this is an opportunity. If Moneymakers get one big game, it's pretty much game over. But if we ruin their game early on, all you have to really do is like eliminate 1 player, maybe 2 players. That's a win. And you just leave. You skedaddle. You don't really have to hard commit to that one. So maybe that could be a game plan we see coming out from these teams, DK.
I wouldn't, if I was GR, I wouldn't risk it, right? Because the rest of the lobby is already taking care of that, as we saw in the previous 2 matches, right? So I would say for GR, kind of just stick to what they've been doing so far because it's been working for them, right? So if it ain't broke, don't change it, right? Kind of keep that same pacing, keep that same focus, and just keep on doing what you've been doing so far because, I mean, they've been aggressive exactly when they needed to be. They've been just keeping positional advantages as much as they could. So I would say just keep the ball rolling, right? Keep that momentum going and don't change it just yet, right? If it's not working still after this next match, maybe for the last match, try and go crazy. It would be quite exciting as well. But yeah, I would say in general, just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's not desperate times just yet. It's going to be very soon, but we still have 1 more game before we get into those desperate moments. Go though, Miramar is going to be on the menu, ladies and gents. It is time to see who's going to be the crown of the Dusty Dunes of Miramar. Playing path going to be from Minas del Valle all over to Campo Militar up north. East. So pretty decent for, I would say, a majority of these teams based on what we did witness on day 1 of these monthly finals for Poland. But are we going to see the Monte Nuevo hot drop? I remember we did have it on game 1 yesterday, DK. We didn't have it after that in game 2, which was a great change. Was it just because of the playing path, or are we going to see them try and commit to it once again? Hopefully not. I don't like hot drops if they don't make any sense. So I would like for that to be fixed. As I see, Valle del Mar, actually Southwest, is going to be full of 2 squads. WLG is going to be one of them right now. So there's a hot drop and a half that you don't want to see. But unfortunately, it's too late. You have to commit. You cannot escape that situation anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Motion and WLG getting right down to business over there. So it could be an exciting one. As we know, WLG, they're not going to say no to points. Neither would the players there from the side of Motion, especially looking at the fact that there's only 4 points currently separating them. So it's going to be a little bit of a race to see who can get it done first. Speaking about a race, it is going to be Moneymakers now racing over to the side, but up comes Motion. Already Hatemost getting the first hit over onto Kid. Can we see Matic and the rest of the crew come through with the clutch ups? I want to see Matic with the AR, because then I can say it's an automatic. But now General Dushov, just keeping a good eye on the windows here. Elos is going to be moving closer, and I like this kind of setup that we have up here in Minas del Valle, or Valle del Mar, rather. I mean, these buildings look to make it quite difficult, right? These city positions, always quite a bit of a challenge for teams to get a good awareness of and which angles to try and cover.
I do want to say, I want to make a statement that I did actually enjoy that automatic joke. That was, which is rare for me to be like, that's actually a good one. I like it.
That's
I respect
why I make
it.
the bad ones.
Yeah. Plus one point for Gryffindor, DK. Yes. Well done. Congratulations. What was that?
I can go to bed now. Thank you, bye.
He won. He's won everything. He's won at life. Oh, my goodness.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Here we go, though. Yeah, Motion. Indeed. Ked, Matek, taking a severe beating. Hopefully, we'll be able to find himself some meds, some first aids. Maybe a med kit if you're lucky. And heal up fully right now. No real casualties. I have been witnessed, except for WLG. It's a 4v3, but example, they just don't have the resources right now. He's got himself a Mini 14, a pump, tier 1 vest, tier 1 helmet, no meds whatsoever. It seems like the entire building has been looted. As Ibiza is going to be stuck in that 1v2, and he just barely runs out, closes the door right behind him. That was a very, very clutch play. He's able to make it completely unscathed.
Ooh.
But this is taken a long time to set up. You see WLG could leave this fight, by the way, if they really wanted to, DK. They could go down on the cliffside, go to the east, pick up a car, leave. No, they're fully committed to this. They are out for blood.
I mean, both teams could disengage from this fight, right? I mean, Motion could just go in the opposite direction, and they could clearly get themselves unmessed. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to find a car, though, but, you know, they can try.
It's a bit harder, though,
to that bridge.
because you have to go uphill, right, which makes you visible to WLG. Sure, you have some buildings, but if WLG follow you, then you're instantly going to go down. So I would say it's a bit risky, but maybe there is an opportunity for them to go west and then north. That might be an escape they could try and commit to if they really want to. Straight up north, I think it's just going to be really, really hard to execute. But now the shots have been fired. I think they are in all-out war. Right now it's going to get messy. It's going to get down to business. Oh, the spray down with the ASM. Abakan is going to be punished, though, with the QBZ. 10 Ogre, and here we have it. The entire team is just getting completely demolished. It's going to be down to Elas, final player in a 1v3 scenario. Currently in a 1v2 in this particular building, but we're going to see Matic join up, and he just gets swarmed by his enemies. And that is going to be it. Game over. WLG back to the lobby. One more game left for them to play. They get 0 points for their troubles, as we do see on this side of Motion. 4 points, and they were on the second page for the longest time. Maybe this is going to be their time finally to escape here and to be on that heavily contested first page.
Well, they still need 7 points to even just be considered for that, right? But Cam Army and LP, they are the big old gatekeepers of the whole situation here. So curious to see how that one is going to pan out for them. DMC, though, they've locked down the water treatment site, right? Are they going to treat themselves to some water, or will they find a little bit of chaos there, as Invictus is now just looking to kind of reach in? But look at Jay up to the north. I mean, this is a big brain strat coming through here from Invictus, coming in at them from all directions. And yeah, the devil might cry after this one.
It is crying. It's in tears. It's sobbing all its way to the bank, where they're going to have no money because you're very low on the rankings. No rent shall be paid today. Oh, still shots taken up. Yep, that's going to be Invictus finding Dante. Virgil also knocked, so he's trying to pop the shots with a Winchester, which is very weird. We've seen a Winchester played this late in the early stage, because normally it's a weapon you see played in the first 2 to 3 minutes, and then they find a better weapon. Oh, actually hits the shot onto Jade. That's very impressive stuff coming out from start. And he still has 55 bullets, so he can keep doing this all day.
Yeah. And I mean, the Winchester is actually not too bad of a weapon, right? I mean, sure, it's no Car 98 or anything like that, but it comes with an included scope, so you don't have to even run that far. But now, can they lock it in, as it is going to be the players here from last also looking to gain a little bit of a foothold up in towards water treatment. 3 squads now fighting for possession. Well, mainly 2 with this addition of Flamestar just chilling in the corner there. But Zenith also just trying to duck, dive, and dodge their way on through. Can they recover a little bit of territory? Can they actually get the jump and send Flamestar backing?
They're definitely going to try and do so. Water treatment going to be pushed up, last, or just wrapping around to the west. Trying to avoid this entire point of contention in water treatment itself. Not too interested, which makes sense. It's early game. You don't want to take these early game fights. It's a waste of time, and also possibly taking a risk of losing some high-value players on your team. There's some replays of what the hell is happening in Biden map. It was a bit messy. I'd love to see that ASM Abakan angle here from General Dushov, but it got punished pretty much instantly. And you could tell they were hoping to get more grenades, because that would have been a very easy knock here coming out possibly from WLG, but no utility, no grenades, and they were struggling to just even survive those encounters. As it seems after that early game fight, DK, things have slowed down significantly. There's so much space in this circle, everyone's just like, you just don't have to fight anymore. Let's find a good position and hope to make it deeper and deeper in this game.
I mean, one thing that I'm noticing now, speaking about momentum and all these things, right, is Motion are still down all the way there in Via Del Mar, right? They've not rotated out yet.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
They are still just big chilling over there. Maybe they're enjoying the blue juice. I don't know. But I hope they get their way back into zone pretty soon. In the meantime, we are going to be looking over on towards Ozorox and, of course, the players here from GR, as both these teams are sitting side by side up on the leaderboard. But this is where points is going to matter the most, though, for GR. If they want to try and close the gap, they only have 19 more points to go to see... No, 21, rather. They have 21 more points to go if they want to try and catch the Moneymakers. Moneymakers, though, coming in from that southeastern side. The sprays now just raining down onto Ozorox, as it is just chaos and carnage all over the place. This is where you got to be very selective with the engagements, right? Because if Ozorox rotate a little bit too far towards the southern side, sure, they might miss LP, but that could also then open up the opportunity for the Moneymakers to get a jump on them.
Yeah, I think you said 21 now, or is that going to be 19 points needed for GRX if they want to catch up to Moneymakers? Yep. Damn, that gap is closing quickly. Grasp is going to be falling to his death, unfortunately, for Bros, it seems. But yeah, GRX, they're making a comeback of a lifetime. We had a point gap just literally earlier today, guys, if you did not check out the leaderboards. Moneymakers almost had double the amount of points of GR Esports before Game 1, and even going after Game 1. And now, Moneymakers lost most, if not all of their momentum, and GR Esports are just stepping up massively and able to close that gap, game in and game out every single time. And with 2 more games to go, this point gap can be disappearing pretty much instantly. Pretty much this game, depending on how the results tally up in their favor. As Kvik overcommitting, overpeaking, maybe slightly even overconfident, I would go to say. He's in a position where he can easily get rezzed up if his teammates come up in time. But look at that nade here on this dip. That could be looking pretty deadly. They spray it down. I think they might use 2 players for the price of 1. As Tikas is now going to be looking to peek over the ridgeline, doing so much work, so much damage. The smoke going to buy a precious time in favor of Moneymakers. But where the hell is the rest of the team? They're not even here.
Yeah, it seems like Tikas is looking to replace the T with a K and kick some butt up on the hillside here as the Moneymakers now look to roll on in. The utilities again just finding its way right onto the Moneymakers, hiding behind the little buggy over there. Capo going for a little bit of a flank here. Alpi really bringing all the tactics they can to the forefront here. But can they now get the sweep onto the Moneymakers? Because, I mean, if they do, they are just blazing and opening the path for GR to come through. But, of course, Ozorox, they're going to be looking to do the opposite, right? They want to try and stop GR Esports from making any progress whatsoever in this match.
Like, you get 2 eliminations, we get 2 eliminations. You get 1 placement point, we get 2 placement points. They're going to try and take down the competition right away in this Miramar match. Here we go, though. Ozorox also going to be crumbling in front of GR Esports. And yeah, look off BM here. Okay, we get the message. Okay, we get the message. Stop wasting your bullets. You need them to fight, Moneymakers. They're right next to you. Hold on to it. Oh my goodness. But okay, here you go. More points, 4 eliminations going away of GRX. And again, the gap is closing. What's going to be Moneymakers' response here?
That's a good question, Max. Very, very good question indeed. As you can see, Moneymakers opted to. They've gained themselves 2 eliminations, so regaining a little bit of territory, but not too much of it. It's going to be lost. Oh,
screw you in
knocking
particular.
themselves over. It's like, I'm going to win. No, you're not. Funny race coming through and Khabib coming through as well, looking for some parking. So the vehicle has now resulted in a bit of an oil change. It needs to check. They need to check the filter and everything. But now it's going to be Team M falling under the pressure coming through here from the Moneymakers.
I could just imagine the comms after crashing in his teammate car is just like, you remember that one time you stole my chicken nuggets? Yeah, what about it? Screw you, bro. How dare you? I always love to see some little moments like that. Always funny. Makes me smile. That's what I like about a battle royale like PUBG Mobile. You always got like really serious moment, and then you just see some players doing the weirdest stuff ever, and it's just like it's a good little break from the action. It's just like, oh, okay, weird stuff. Love to see happening. Wait, is it? Oh, the teammates. What, is he trying to pan his teammate? I was like, wait a minute, did he not see him? I was so confused what I was looking at there for a second. But no, he's just trying to pan his teammates, have some fun with it. But okay, he's just going to be staying in the bin, trying to hide in that position, as we have some replays of that fight between GRX and Ozorox. The nade plays were really good actually from Ozorox initially, but then they got a little bit too willing to commit to the fight, and then just got clapped right back in the face. It didn't work out, as we saw. Also Spike from Moneymakers trying to get some eliminations. They saw GRX are catching up, so they're like, we have to get points, guys. Come on, we have to fight. And they are doing just that and getting way more points here. So Moneymakers, GRX, this is going to be tooth and nail, I think, down in the last game.
Oh, Vision with some slippy feet over there. Lost their grip and down they went. A bit of a oops, but we'll see. I mean, the points are back to 21, right? They need 21 points again to try and catch up to the Moneymakers. So if anything was to happen here, if any of the other teams in the lobby were to try and contest the Moneymakers right now, that would make things considerably easier for GR. But Anno also going to be one of those teams looking to bring in a bit of a halt here, right? They are trailing by nearly 30 points behind that second place. And looking at their overall positioning, they are quite centered up, but zone is going to shift. Ooh, look at that motion now getting zone blessed with a beautiful bit of a positioning there up in towards San Martin.
Yeah, the thing is that position on the San Martin hilltop is, well, not even hilltop, it's an absolute unit, it's a mountain at that point. But it's really hard to hold on to when it's in that kind of circle because it's very wide. And you literally have a road that leads to the very tippy top of the mountain on the eastern edge. I think that if you're going to defend, that's the road you need to be holding off teams on. Otherwise, if you go just on the compound trying to get some eliminations, you're going to lose the bigger picture of this game. So hopefully we are not going to be seeing them fumble this one. Motion, you have a great opportunity to make it very far in this game. Do not give that opportunity away. Moneymakers, though, out in the open. Kvik will be the first to fall to the hands of Maxa from Anno. And Moneymakers just hesitant here as to what to commit to. Just driving about, not thinking anyone's going to hit them, but they will. They will. And it did just happen to Kvik. I think they have to commit to a breach here because this circle, we're getting very deep. You're heading into almost phase 5 very soon. There's not enough positions for all of these teams. You still have 12 teams alive. You need to fight for that real estate eventually. And I think the Moneymakers, this is the time for a crash. Or otherwise, you're just going to keep losing player after player for little to no reason.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to play here because you have to juggle so many things all at the same time. Right, you got to try and play the best possible game you can, all while still trying to defend your position on those overall standings, as there's only one match left after this game. So it's almost a make or break situation or decision that has to be brought through here. But GR keeping it a little bit more cautious this time around, right? Not going to be looking to overextend their reach. I say that, and Ninja gets absolutely battered on the edge there. Quite a few sprays. Kashri also now moving up, and that vehicle also not looking too great either. So GR, I would say, they're currently just playing with fire.
Oh, motion. Here we go. This is the issue I was going to be talking about, that I talked about earlier, right? Is that you got this big old road to the east, and Moneymakers knew that was going to be their approach point. They're trying to climb up Mount Everest. Motion have to set up a successful defense. They cannot allow them to coexist in this position. One team can be up there, and that is it. Oh, but they do have a 2-2 split. They're looking to maybe regroup it. Things have slowed down quite significantly. Moneymakers know at least that there's a defense being set up by Motion, so this is a pretty quick and snappy response from Motion. Happy to see it unfold. It's still even Stevens between these two teams, it seems, as if you want to eliminate the other squad, DK, you really have to full commit and push them, which I don't think we're going to see happen until Circle 5, which is going to be in 30 seconds. So this is going to be a big kind of pivot point for this game where we're going to see some teams get very desperate and looking for these opportunities to engage and breach teams.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough one, especially looking at all these hills that we have to work with for the time being. But hey, maybe it could still be a bit of an opportunity here for the Cam Army over down on towards Alpi, as both squads are sat there 50-50, so they have even chances, even odds in finding some success here. It is going to be Cabrera taking quite a bit of damage here, just narrowly escaping that blue zone. Cam Army also now looking to capitalize on the available opportunity as they look to disengage from the edge there. Moving a little bit closer, looking to get aggressive, but can they find the spray? Can they find the points? SJ getting denied any opportunity, while the rest of the team now needs to find a strategy that will work for them, because that blue is going to devour them whole.
He would have closed that door literally a half second sooner. I think he would have bounced back into the face of Alpi players. Oh no, he went right into the horse! in the blue. That did slow them down quite significantly and forcing them to take a lot of blue zone damage. Alpi now turning the tides in their favor in a 2v2 scenario here. Cam, Army, still, I don't know, there's going to be still 3 players able to heal up nicely. So 2v3, now 1v3. It's going to be Alpi down to just TCAS, and he's just going to get 1v1 upstairs in the building, in the attic. As Cam Army looking really strong and confident again, which is a team that had some big surprises in day 1, especially with that Everest play. But here, looking to take some fights head on and able to come out on top in most of them.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of that day 1 jitters has kind of found its way to the wayside. Ooh, I say that, and SJ gets absolutely popped up. Goes off in a poof of smoke. Now it's Cam Army down to a 2-piece. Meanwhile, BQRX, again throwing the whole alphabet at us over here, is going to be looking to rotate through as Yuki comes in with a sneaky play. Oh, look at that. How could you not hear the vehicle pushing on you? Jenga managing to narrowly escape that, but the rest of the QRX esports team is going to look to now come in as they are down to a solo here, Max.
Yep, exactly. Down to a solo. Things are going to be happening quite quickly as we see Dream trying to maybe find just a little dip, a little heel top he can play and survive and get some placement points. That's going to be his game plan because S4D, Sad, your teammate, that is going to be a big no-no. No revive happening there.
Got to keep the Dream alive, Max.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Yes.
This is the proof. You may say that. I like it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But
One of the few
he's
instances.
He's driving a lot, though. I think you just choose a spot and stick to it.
It's almost like he's driving around. It's like, bet you can't hit me. Bet you can't hit me. How about now? How about now? Gotta watch out because those rocks have a tendency to stop you right in your track. So you don't want to get caught out too confident in the vehicle. Speaking of which, Lord, Moneymakers, they've been able to make some money here with those eliminations, right? Found themselves 5. They did lose 1 player, as we saw much earlier on. But there we have that, the dark-colored Panther logo there for Cam Army. Not just getting shot at, but fortunately for them, that rock is working out quite well.
So, a rock speed kind of good against bullets. Would be broken if a bullet could go right through a freaking rock. Hopefully that technology is not there yet. I mean, you would need mortars would do it, but they're not really a bullet. It's a bit different. Oh, Ked though pushing up. Actually, this is great. I love plays like this. Ked pushing up. They keep in General Dushov in this position because that forces them to demand respect of Moneymakers. Moneymakers can't just bleed over the ridge themselves, so otherwise General Dushov is just going to instantly punish that. So this is a really good 3-1/2-2 split we're seeing. And now they're getting hesitant again. No, that was such a good play. Motion, I love the play on there. And they just maybe think about it again and they doubt themselves and they just instantly pivot backwards. That was such a good attempt. And they just lost all of their confidence pretty much instantly the moment they got slightly close to Moneymakers. That's a missed opportunity in my opinion, DK. I'm a little bit sad to not see that really unfold in full effect.
I mean, it could have been a 200 IQ play coming through there from them, but let's see what the rest of the match is going to have for them. Now the pressure is on here for QRX team, spelled with a Q, as they are going to be holding over onto the far eastern side of Zorin. It's going to be a pretty tough entry here for them, right? Because they got Anno just ahead of them as well as GR. So, yeah, pretty tough odds. But I think realistically, looking at the potential rotational pathway, I would say maybe either to just slightly more north or slightly more south, as there might be a bit of an opening for them to try and slip through.
Could be a slight opening. We'll have to see if they can strike while the time is right. Here we go, though. It's going to be QRX. The 3 players going to try and make that push forward over the roadside. But they didn't stop. Just kept going, hoping for the best. And nothing came of it. That's going to be it. Down to just Antares now. Final remaining players. Sole survivor. He's in circle at least. You know what? There's still a little bit of hope in the air lingering for this team. Yeah, that's it. Though I would recommend popping the wheels on the car would always be better. Just so you can not get shot from underneath it. But you didn't do it. That means if someone gets in a really good position, they can easily get those shots onto Antares and eliminate himself and the entire team. But now 10 teams alive. We're on circle 6 here, DK. And no team has yet to secure a single placement point, which so many teams alive. This is crazy.
It's going to be chaos, Max. It is going to be absolute chaos. We're going to need some earplugs because there's going to be a lot of fighting going through in these next few moments. Stage 7 about to hit. Anno still holding nice and steadily over on towards the edge of zone. It does seem like that rotation went down towards slightly more southern side, as I was talking about it earlier. So things are looking pretty good here. But now it's going to be Gentleman holding up the front line. Rogo has spotted out the vehicle, knows that there's a snake in the grass somewhere, sends out the shots, and with that, Gentleman goes down. Now it's all up to Bablu. Oh, and down they go. GR not having the legs to carry them forward in the rest of this match. Down to the final 7 we go. And GR out on 107 points.
And you know what that means? I think we do have a champion after this one, because here with the point gap that's been created in favor of Moneymakers and GRX being out of the equation, and as we see a record-breaking game in the final Miramar of today, this should be Moneymakers becoming your champions here of the Always On Polish Monthly Finals Season 1. Of course, we'll have to see how things go in match number 10. But as of right now, it's not looking too juicy for GR Esports. Circle does shift again towards the San Martin hilltop position, which is going to be great for not only motion, but also the entirety of Moneymakers, at least for those that are still alive at this point in the match. So those ridges are going to be a godsend for them. But the northern teams, this is where things are going to get a little bit dicey. You got Bros, you got QRX, and of course you do have the lads up there of Last Esports. And only one team can really remain in this position, so a big fight should occur in the next minute or so to see who will be aiming for a top 5 position.
Yep, that's going to be the big question we will look to have answered here, but it does seem like the Moneymakers are letting it all loose. They now hit 8 eliminations, and they are far from being done with it just yet. Now the opportunity lies in the hands of Anno to find it up into the side of Last. They do find the first. But can they find the rest now? Having to quickly fall back on that strategy as Rogo now starts to reposition. Looking to flank back and get themselves up in towards the zone. Morin is going down as well as the Bros. Now look to just solidify their position up on towards the north. And a very controlling position if they can lock it down. But they're going to have to keep a very close eye on that center zone positioning.
Yep, center's going to be what is going to be awarding you possibly this win. Even though I would possibly tend to favor an edge playstyle on this kind of circle, but Havlikaina could be the thorn in the side for a lot of these teams, a little bit of an X factor that they just don't expect in that position at that time. As Anno, again, big day for Anno Esports. So he roll up, get himself a nice little rich position here. Nice angle, but unfortunately for him, there's a player right behind him that he just did not know anything about. Anno now just trying to scramble about, trying to get something to work, again trying to get something to stick. He's in the blue, taking the damage, will bleed out, and will get knocked as now Anno here with the final play of Biscuit. He's got P90, a great clutch weapon. But will it be enough to weather the storm here against Moneymakers as the nades are going to be coming flying on by right onto his location? The dip is going to be completely demolished, and that's going to be Havlikaina securing the 10th elimination for Moneymakers here, pretty much locking in their championship game here, DK.
Yeah. We could be looking at it right then and there. Bros now filling the absolute barrage of sprays just raining down on them. So much health getting lost right there. And I mean, Havlikaina and the rest of the Moneymakers looking absolutely crazy. Default not playing as aggressively as we've seen in yesterday's games, but the angles here from Havlikaina just paying off phenomenally as they get that confirmation over onto the players from Bros. Up comes Motion. Now looking to send the Moneymakers here to the bottom of the ocean. It is going to be a long stretch, though, because, well, we just have sand over here, Max.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the whole point of Miramar. There's a lot of sand all over the place. But I'm getting really annoyed with Motion. They gave so much control for free over to Moneymakers. I understand the point of coexisting together, but this amount of control is just a little bit too much in my opinion. Luckily enough, Bros are going to be helping them clean up shop. As they do get a knock onto Spike, now it's going to be Havlikaina just pushing downhill, maybe hoping Bros get eliminated before them so they can secure second place. Motion should still be able to secure this chicken dinner, as sure it wasn't as controlling and decisive as I would have really liked, but it's still going to be a chicken dinner nonetheless. As Ibiza here has an inkling of information on Havlikaina's position. No more nades, going to have to push up with the Scar, with the UMP loadout. Just don't give a 1v1 over to Havlikainen. That is the play you do not want to do as he goes up onto the hillside, but his back is going to be exposed, and that is going to be it. Now, Emotion taking home this chicken dinner on match number 9 for these Polish monthly finals. GG, well played, and it was a very odd, weird game here coming in from this match, DK. But you know what? Motion, sure, maybe not the most decisive, aggressive team in that position, but they played it just right at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it happened really quickly, right? Bros were still alive there for a second. We did see Moneymakers also alive, and then just bam, everybody gone. Motion get the chicken, and that's it, right? Job done. But a good comeback coming there from the Moneymakers as well, just re-establishing their position, their dominance that they've been showing over the past few matches, or, well, yesterday, not so much today. But there's still one more match to go, and I don't know if GR would at all be capable of catching up to the Moneymakers now. I mean, that point difference is just way too great. Also, with the placement points that have been added on top of the eliminations they got, I think it might be confirmed then for the Moneymakers.
Yeah, I mean, a double-digit second place is going to be massive coming in from Moneymakers. But you know what? Let's check out the leaderboards. Let's not wait. Let's not dilly-dally about this one. See exactly what the point gap is. And here we have it. 142 points for Moneymakers compared to the 108 points of GR Esports. Yeah, that is an impossible lead to overcome. That means you would need a 34-point match for GR Esports, and Moneymakers get nothing. We would need more than a 20 chicken dinner elimination bomb if you want to see that happening, which I don't know if you've seen recently, DK. I definitely have not. So for me, our champion is done. It's going to be all in between of Ozrox Esports and GR Esports, because Ozrox could be stealing away last second here, this second place. Ooh, Ozrox maybe could be doing something a little bit dirty, a little bit mucky in the water here this time around.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 34 points, that's going to be quite a bit of a gap to try and close up. I have to agree with you. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, it's difficult to say because anything can literally happen. The odds of that happening, pretty grim. It's not great, so I wouldn't capitalize or hope for that to be the case. But, well, let's see. And I mean, we did look at that 4th and 5th place also being really, really close with regards to points. In fact, they're so close that they tied, right? So that's going to be an interesting one, especially for Bros and Anos, to see who's going to be the one to lock it in come the final match. But it's still open, right? There's still a fight that is to be had for the final 6 teams, because that's where we know the prize pool extends up to. So if you want to share off that cash, you know what you got to do. You got to bring everything, and maybe the kitchen sink coming into the last match.
Yeah, exactly. You throw that huge kitchen sink, it might be enough. We'll have to see how things are going to be unfolding in that game. I love in the chat, though, we're seeing the Ninja from GR Esports saying, we need a win with 20 eliminations. And then you have Default saying, you can try. Just testing them. Just like, you can try. We won't let you do it, but you can give it a fair shot. And I like to see the competition in the chat. But guys, stop being in the YouTube chat. Get in the lobby right now and get ready to play to see who will be crowned your champions. We'll be back after this break. See you guys very soon to see who will be crowned. It's a late evening for me. Who will be crowned your always on Polish monthly final season 1. See you in a bit.
Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay desene zaten.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur.
Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başka geçemeyeceğim.
Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
Tamam iyi herhalde. Baksana. İyi. Bu arada iyi şu an. İyi.
Evet beyler, yeni skinleri gördünüz mü? Gördüm. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı? Gördüm beyler. Al ve sona yakışmaz mı?
Ya beyler.
Abi ya. Abi şimdi
Ben sev.
TETO Games.
Aynen. Ya şimdi neredeyse başka geçemeyeceğim.
Gidiyorum.
Sen de ay deseniz hala.
TETO Games aynı.
Ahmet'i de aldın dur. Abi çekiyorum ben de bir şanssız ya.
Every game has a beginning, but some never truly end. Time never stops here. Opponents change, but the stage always stays open. This is not just an ordinary tournament. This is competition renewed every single week. It's not for everyone, only for those who are ready. The best of esports are here. Because this is TETO Games always on. The game never stops.
It's all come down to this. Here today, we are going to be crowning our champions for the always on Polish monthly finals season 1. And it should be moneymakers, but you know what? We also have some very interesting fights happening for those podium positions as we head into one final game here on Miramar. My name is Maxman, still joined by DK to break down this final match here for Poland. And man, oh man, DK, we've had some great matches the entirety of this stage. But down to the final one, DK. First place, we know it's pretty much locked in. I'm looking especially at second place, GR Esports. Do you think they can hold on to that position, or will they falter in the face of competition and give their spot away to Ozrox Esports?
Max, that is a very good question, which I don't have the answer to. We'll find out soon enough to see exactly
I'm not asking
what
for
is
an
gonna
answer, it's opinion. I want an opinion.
I mean, they should be able to, right? They should be able to hold on to their second place. But one thing that I just noticed is that Moneymakers, the amount of eliminations they have is exactly the same amount as the points that GR have in totality.
Oh, really? Wait.
Yes.
Oh, you're right. 108 eliminations, 108 points for GR. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they've been busy. They've been cooking. They've taken the Gordon Ramsay masterclass and they've just been going ham with this one. But of course, it is still going to be that fight to see who can secure themselves a seat in the top 6. Of course, the entry to the top 6 is going to be 70 points. So if we want to see teams like Motion or Cam Army looking to catch up, they're going to have to double down. I think there's 3 teams that stand a chance to catch up to the top 6, right? Motion, Cam Army, and LP. Those 3 teams, I think, realistically can catch. Potentially, maybe Last Esports. But yeah, it's all going to depend on what happens and how it all goes down in this very last match of the day.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I think a lot of teams are going to get very desperate when push comes to shove in these matches, and looking at Motion in particular. Decent comeback, right? We've seen a lot more presence from Motion in the last few matches as we did for the entirety of yesterday. So Motion definitely stepping up big time, which I'm always loving to see a team getting very desperate and showing their true potential. Hopefully they can lean into that type of playstyle more in their future tournaments, because right now it's still a little bit too late to my tasting to see a really big step up from this team. But yeah, Last Esports, Anno, Bros, Ozrox, GR Esports, all these teams are going to be paying heavily close attention to, and Moneymakers we're going to pay attention to purely to see how high is their ceiling in this tournament. How many points can they finally try and secure going into Miramar? But we did see some hot drops, right, DK? We saw in day one Montenuevo hot drop. Here it was Valle del Mar. I want to see that fixed. It doesn't make any sense. We saw it did hinder the opportunity early game for two of these teams, even though you still maybe get 4 eliminations. You lose a player, chances of that win goes down drastically. Hot drops, once you know that hot drop's going to happen, you should instantly be thinking about where should I go instead. And sometimes it takes a little bit too long for them to go to that decision making.
Yeah, I think you need to come in with at least, I don't know, a few potential strategies, right? Got to have a plan A, B, C, D, and E. So in case anything happens, you have a backup for your backup to back up the backup that needs the backup. So let's see how this one is going to roll out as we are getting ready to hop into the final match. I want to ask you, though, seeing that we've been seeing a wide variety of different zones coming in across the board, where do you think we are going to be going for our very final one?
Let me bring in my inner Ocean Sharma right now, because he's the circle god. He always knows where it's going to go. And I'm telling you, it's going to be positioned around the western open terrain of Picado. Pretty center circle. That's where it's going to be going, in the trash loot area over to the west of Picado, is my, not only prediction, I can guarantee that is where it's going to be heading, DK. But what about you? Where do you think this circle is going to be going?
Well, my airtime for future predictions has run low, but where I would love to see the zone go is over towards Chumacera. I'd go like Chumacera, maybe a little bit towards the El Pozo, or the Los Leones, rather, those open fields. I want to see something over there in the hills, maybe. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Could be happening. We've had always very different circles in Miramar, right, compared to Erangel. Sometimes they've been like, they've worked in similar fashion, but no, Miramar's been very, very different, it seems, which I'm always enjoying to see how these teams adapt to these different kind of landscape areas on these maps, and it's been working great so far for a lot of these teams. But with that said, I am being told our map is ready, guys, so get ready to jump into our final game here for the Always On Polish Monthly Finals Season 1. After this game, a champion will be crowned, and some prize pool shall be distributed. Here we go, playing high in the sky. It's going to be going from the southern side of the map next to Partona, all up northwest next to La Cobreria. And Chumacera, DK, talking about it. It's going to be on the playing path, and same as my location, west of Picado, the trash loot area. West of Picado is also right under the playing path. Maybe we're cooking here. Maybe it's going to be in between our 2 drop locations here, DK. We would be prophets amongst prophets. Which would be rare. I wouldn't expect it to happen, but maybe this is the one time it just lines up perfectly.
Hey, there's always a first, right? There's always a time for it to be the first time. Maybe it will be the only time. We don't know. We'll find out soon enough. But the teams are making their way on down. Partona is, of course, where we'll be looking at Fire Start all the way down on that far southern side, with the rest of the squad dropping in that location as well. WLG, though, going for a little bit of action here as they head up in towards San Martin. Going to be looking to lock on in here. Looking to get aggressive. Cam Army also nearly touching down. Bros, though, Max, they've got a super comfortable spot, right? They've got the entirety of Los Leones, and, well, look at that. Chumacera Los Leones Fields, not going to be the name of the game here, but I think you might maybe be right.
No, there's no way. No, I'm right. It's almost impossible. You would need so many hard shifts in a row for me to be correct. So, unfortunately, I will take the L. Ocean Sharma lied to me. He did not give me the right details. I think he was talking about tomorrow's games for Romania, so that we'll have to wait for those games. But though, Montenuevo hot drop is happening. We got the Pozzo hot drop that's going to be happening also this time around. You're going to be having Alpi involved in that fight in particular, and Moneymakers taking 1 casualty. To be honest with you, DK, I think Moneymakers don't care. I think they know this is in the bag. This game is just for the memes, and I think we're going to see them just go a bit a bit wacky here on the battleground.
Yeah, what would be ridiculous, right? Almost maybe funny at the same time, right? If Moneymakers take that approach, they get wiped, right? They don't claim any eliminations. They get wiped off the map. That's them done and dusted. Boom, out they go. GR just doubles down on the energy drinks and they go absolutely crazy. And they pick up like a 30 elimination match.
Nah.
But just imagine that. That would be insane, right? Because here we are sitting, joking, going like, ha ha ha, that'd be funny. And then it happens, right? I mean, yeah.
Maybe because of that, we changed the map rotation. We talk to production and we say, can we put Rondo as the last map?
Ooh.
And that would make it spicy as hell. Because technically, you would tell me that with a Rondo on this game, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, that could genuinely happen. I mean, we saw already some 20 elimination bombs almost happen, right? With GRX in day 1, almost day 2, happening with the side of Moneymakers. So maybe, hey, you know what? That would be a way to make these tournaments stand out even more. You make Rondo the last map, and bro, all hell breaks loose in that last game. I'm telling you, we'd be cooking. That would be pure and raw entertainment on the last game.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, even just to play an upset, you intermingle, so you go like Erangel, Miramar, Rondo.
Yes.
That'd be insane.
I approve. Production, if you're listening, make it happen. Okay, we don't have that kind of power, but it's a cool idea. Chat, Tell us, what do you think? Would you like to see Rondo beat the last map going into some of these tournaments just for the memes to make that last game just a little bit more wild? Let's go over to this final pod. Yep, it's going to be esports, also known previously as EA Esports. Now up against.
It's in the game.
It's in a game. They are in a game right now. DK had heard even, and here you go, jump shot through the window with the DBS. Not going to be able to connect, but you know what? Demanding respect, making it known that he is willing to take the shots and fight you. So you've got to be a little bit careful. Marino though, able to not take any damage from that incoming grenade. As now everyone is trying to just set themselves up. Last esports here in a 4v2 scenario in this warehouse. I don't know why Khabib is so far behind. I would say just fully regroup, be on the offensive, and try to overwhelm with your manpower, with your man advantage in this 4v2, which you currently still maintain. It seems like they're slowly but surely going to be doing just that.
I mean, if Khabib was over to the north, I think that would have been a crazy position, right?
Oh,
Just
for sure.
really look to leverage that off-angle play. But now it's going to be Fraga and the rest of Last now looking to see, can they outlast LP? Ooh, beautiful jump shot coming through here. One down, one more to go. And there we have it. A slam dunk by Last as they, well, put the last bit of their ammo into the box just to make sure that it's properly closed up.
GG's. Not much to say. The fight, hot drops, I don't like them, but you know what? They do happen sometimes, and Alpi just bite the dust in the process. So, well done. As you have another fight here happening. This is going to be the fight in... Which comp? That's the Monte Nuevo fight happening, though. I said I didn't want to see any more after day 1 on the first Miramar, but it keeps on happening, it seems. It's going to be QRX versus the side of Team M. And the thing is, sure, you're in circle, but this fight just takes so long. That's time during which you can't loot properly, you can't scout, you can't start thinking about your next rotation, you can't project yourself in the mid to late game stage of this match. You're just stuck in this limbo of like, we want to do something, but this fight keeps happening, and if we're not cautious, we're just going to get backstabbed by a random player that's hiding behind some weird corner somewhere. It's not worth it. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, really, and especially in a competitive format, but you know what? Unfortunately, as of right now, they're stuck, and they just can't exit, because if you do, chances are you're going to get chased down.
But it's interesting to see that. I mean, Monte Nuevo is like the Bermuda Triangle of this map, right? Because once you're in here, it's like you kind of forget that the rest of the game's going on, right? And I mean, we've seen this over how many different events, where every time there's a fight in Monte Nuevo, it's like it just goes into a completely different realm of itself. So
It does.
let's see if anything is going to happen here, or whether or not Team M is going to look to continue with this bit of a momentum that they have. Ooh, maybe they could look to change up the whole flow of the thing, Max.
It's almost like this time dilation, that just time here flows 7 times slower than in real life. The game's already ended, and they're still fighting in Monte Nuevo. But here we go. That's going to be 2 eliminations going over to Team M. No casualties suffered so far. As now, QRX, what is your game plan? Well, actually, you know what? I know what their game plan is. They want to leave, but they can't because it's a bloody hot drop. So if you try to run away, you're just going to get chased down and eliminated as you try to make it out of the city. It's terrible. It's horrible. They've got to be careful. Don't give him too many 1v1s. It's going to be a one-on-one trade, but they will be able to flush it, which is not the case for QRX. But QRX do find himself one, and he will be able to flush that one. So now with the DBS able to camp his staircase positions, takes a beating. Still has a ton of bullets, though, with that DBS. He's going to get pushed up. You know what, DK? I'm sorry to say, sure, Team M win that fight, but that was a terrible push. He gave so many 1v1s. Big risk. Luckily enough, it works out, but oh my goodness, that could have gone so bad.
It could have, but I got to commend Team M, though, because they chose to aggress, right? They didn't sit back, relax, you know, kick out the armchair. They actually went forward trying to find the people. So, GG for that.
I mean, sure,
They
they
made
play
this fight go
aggressive.
a lot quicker.
Sure, they play aggressive, DK, I agree, but it's more like the execution. Like, playing aggressive is nice, but the way it was done, I'm like, that could have gone way worse for you. So it kind of worked out in the end.
Yeah, if it was a team like GR right there with them in that compound, that would have been their ticket back to the lobby.
Oh, definitely. If it was Moneymakers, no chance. Game over. Here we go. Actually, talking about GR Esports, as you mentioned them here, still winning their fight. 4 eliminations. Quite far away from the 20 elimination plus bomb they need if they want to be crowned the champions here. But luckily enough for them, Moneymakers have yet to win a single point. But I believe GRX are down to just a duo. 2 players fully out of this game. So as a duo, I think that is not going to be happening. Or otherwise, this would be a first in my PUBG Mobile Esports career that I see a 20 elimination bomb for 2-man team. I don't think it's going to be happening today, but here we go. The lineup is so perfect. Almost gets a double. It just does a bit of damage on those 2 players. Not able to confirm anything, unfortunately. Here you go, pushing up in that open room with the DBS. Nothing connecting just yet. Now looking to reposition with his teammates. No utility, unfortunately. Only 5 smokes. If he had a grenade or Molotov, that would buy him so much precious time. As he gets off-angled by some teammate. Now, the entirety of Invictus is just getting absolutely battered here, DK. And seems like it's just a matter of time before this team gets eliminated.
Oh, there you go. That's motion. That's motion playing the upset, Max. They are third-partying the living goodness out of this. So, Ked and the team doing some pretty good work right here. But they are not out of the woods just yet, right? They still need to choose whether or not they want to aggress over on towards GR. And, I mean, for GR now to get 28... no, 31 more points with a duo. Easy work, man. Come on. 31 eliminations. Easy. No, it's not. It's going to be really, really tough to try and
it's
pull
easy
that
as
one
cast
off.
to say, oh, that's just easy, man.
Just a walk in the park.
Yeah. This is why we're here talking about the game, not playing. But
Yeah.
because we would not be able to do that. Not in a million years. You know what? There you go. Ninja getting shot in the back. He was talking smack in the YouTube chat. Let's see if he can back it up in game. Oh. Okay, Motion just taking it a bit slow. They had a really good initial third party. They're not overcommitting. They're not being too risky about it. But they've also still got that fight happening with Last. Last Esports still there. They're not moving an inch. Trying to become invisible. Part of the wall. Part of the environment. Wearing perfect camouflage right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's working. Because Motion almost completely forgot about them. I think Motion thought that was them that was there.
It is not.
Yeah. So they're going to be in for quite a bit of a surprise. Speaking of which, it is go
There
time.
you go.
Ooh. Big
Oh
old
my
claps
goodness.
coming in now.
Yep, there you go. The surprise we were talking about. Didn't know how it was going to unfold, but it fell just right through. Unfortunately, not good for Motion. Fragger, Morino looking really strong in this one. The surprise factor paid dividends at the end. It's Last now. Got to be careful. The car, they're going to be hearing it. Possibly trying to leave. The blue zone does engulf the entire compound, so that's going to be adding a little bit more of a time factor to the equation. They need to keep that in mind. As General Dushov, I do think that is the wisest play there. Get back. Pack it up. Move back into the circle if you can with your teammate of Ked. If you can even pick him up, because I don't think you have a lot of time to do so. And move back towards Montenuevo, which, by the way, I just saw the next circle pop here, DK. Sure, we do have that hot drop that did happen in Montenuevo, but it is a Montenuevo circle, so maybe they just knew what was going to happen. They read in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the if you got the know-how, if you got the info, might as well use it, right? So let's see how this one is going to play out. A big replay of course, the carnage and chaos that went down between Invictus and a few other squads up on towards that far northwestern side. Ozorox, in the meantime, they pushed on forward, getting themselves a few eliminations here, there, and not looking to share too much of it. Now, the edge of zone is going to be where Cam Army comes into. Moneymaker's right behind them. We do have the Ozorox also just holding over onto the side. But we went from that Bermuda square that we had over in Monte Nuevo, and we're heading right back into it.
Oh, big sense here on solos in the open. Havlikana securing more eliminations up against Ozorox. It seems so Ozorox, they were trying to play catch up with the side of GRX, but with currently now one player eliminated, this is going to get more hard to execute every single step of this game. Though Bros, don't forget about Bros. They could be trying to snatch away a podium position out of the hands of Ozorox. It only was that 7 points away, so Bros, and not only Bros, Anno too, they currently still have 0 eliminations, so those two teams could be trying to ruin the day of the Turkish organization. We'll see how things unfold in the next minute or so. We are now about to reach the 40-minute point of this game, about to go into Circle 4, which you know that's where things get real damn serious on Miramar. As Ozorox, one player now confirmed. And down to 2 players, you can see they're just trying to salvage it. They don't want to give that top 3 position away, DK, but they don't really have too much of a choice in the matter.
But it's funny because the Moneymakers and Ozorox are engaging. Then we've got Bros and Anno engaging over on towards the southern side. GR, they just big chillin' up on towards the northern side of the zone. And we got DMC also down on towards the southern side as well. So there is still a little bit of heat that could come through, at least with regards to the south half of the zone itself. But I like what Anno is doing, starting to split themselves up. We do see Biscay moving a little bit further up towards the north, trying to just establish a little bit of a foothold there, while the rest of the team decides what the approach is going to be here. Are they going to look to engage? Biscay will, of course, will be relaying a lot of that information back to the squad and tell them when I think it might be a good time for them to start falling back.
Yeah, talking about falling backs here, we're going to be having some teams falling back over to the western side. It's going to be DMC, it's going to be also Last Esports falling back and trying to find these open compounds in the fields next to Monte Nuevo to the western edge. So far, Last able to get himself a very good piece of real estate for themselves. I think they'll be able to make it very, very far in this game. And they're currently in 6th position, so they could also, if they get a lot of placement points, could be having a really big impact on this top 5 scenario. Catching up to Ozorox might be a bit of a stretch, but you know what? It is not out of the realm of possibilities. 1 chicken dinner, and that's 10 placement points, which would be just enough to tie with Ozorox at this very point in time. Moneymakers did lose Kovic earlier on in this match, got 5 eliminations to their name, and are looking to wide northern rotate away, which is a very smart rotation. I like it because the circle kept shifting west, west, west every single time, meaning you're going to have a big grouping of teams over to the eastern side in the city of Monte Nuevo, which is what you're seeing right now on your screen. You got voiced at 4 teams inside Monte Nuevo itself, which is quite hectic. And by one smart rotation, one smart IGLing call here, they just avoid that entire headache and just easily make their way into the circle.
Yeah. If it works, Max. So, yeah, we're going to have to wait to see where this next zone is going to be taking us. I've got a strange feeling that it might maybe either be centering up on Monte Nuevo itself or maybe pulling a little bit more towards the southern side, right? I mean, if it goes to that western field, that's going to be just game over for so many teams trying to make it up into the position here. Bros, though, paying a little bit of a price as we do have Nox going in their direction. So let's see if the Bros will be able to recover that. No, they do lose their grasp, at least on that southern position. Now the tables are turning in favor here of Anno as they have the 4-3 advantage.
Yep, that's going to be the case. And I always love these little high ground positions they're playing southwest of Monte Nuevo itself. Really good hold. Rogo saw some 6 sprays earlier with the M4. This time, Mini 14. There you go. 1 bullet. Connects onto Sparta. Demanding respect on that hill. Making sure you don't peek him too hard, or otherwise he'll make you regret living in this game. But Bro's playing it slow. I would love to see Bro try and avoid this fight entirely, but the thing is, on this position, if you go even west or east, one, you don't have any information on where you're already going because teams could be literally positioned anywhere, but also they just peek over the ridge then, and Anno can get the easiest spray of their life right onto you. You've got to be very careful, Bros, what they're going to be doing. But here we go, Moneymakers. They push up on the hilltop. They get rid of General Dushov. That is going to be a play of Motion already out of this game. I believe it's just Ked. Yeah, it is Ked as the solo now for Motion, as they just, for the very first time, by the way, last game, DK made it on the first page. And now with 62 points, maybe looking to make a climb even higher towards that heavily contested top 5, but Ked will have to make that happen alone.
Yeah, they need to survive a little while longer also to benefit off of the placement points. So whatever Ked needs to do, I'm sure he'll try and do exactly that. He's going to look to get themselves positioned up into the compound. At least for the time being, that will buy them a little bit of time. Speaking about time, though, we don't have a lot of that left as the zone is going to start to close in the next few moments. So whatever Anno is going to be doing here, they're going to have to commit to it. Bros, they are facing quite a bit of an uphill challenge because the only way forward for them is either through Anno or to try and flank around Anno. So there might be some very tough calls to be made by them. GR still in the mix. Not quite on the way to getting those 31 eliminations. But hey, they've got 5. It's more than nothing.
It's better than what we would get. So you know what?
Yeah.
We can't talk too much smack about it. But here we go. Talking about the player I was mentioning earlier. Bros are going far to the west, which means they're going to be fully opening their backs to Anno, who are spraying pretty significantly in their direction, but not hitting any knocks, it seems. So Anno... oh, okay, you know what? I take that one back. Crazy does get it eventually, and I said it was going to be risky, and it does not pay off for at least Rashu of the Bros squad. And even Yushi gets knocked on down by the Moneymakers, so it was a very desperate play. And desperation sometimes does cause your demise. Not going to be doing anything in their favor. Now Anno just farming easy eliminations thanks to it, and having the easiest transition point on the south. Keep on holding that high ground position. They even have Biski as an anchor point further down in the circle. So this is looking real fancy as a game for Anno here, DK.
Yeah, I think that that early disengage or break off rather coming through from Biscay really paid off for them. Right now they know exactly where to go. They have a lot of information about the teams ahead of them, so they are making some informed decisions right here. In the meantime, it is going to be DMC over on towards that southeastern, western side rather. Very close over towards Ked. Ked now just trying to survive, trying to play for those placement points, and that's exactly where we are now, right? 8th place onwards is going to get awarded additional points for surviving all the way up to here, but we still have quite a bit of space currently between our teams and just under a minute remaining on the clock until the next zone is going to come popping on through. Moneymakers starting to lurk up on towards the northern side, but a big concentration of teams all situated towards the southeastern side, right? Everybody just trying to hug a compound as tightly as they can. Even GR trying to stay out of harm's way, but Kashi might get spotted here.
Imagine QRX end up winning this game by being Montenuevo literally since the hot drop. It would be an interesting turn of events. I really did not expect, especially after talking so much smack about hot drops and how you shouldn't do it. But when the circle is literally on that compound, on that city you've been fighting for since phase 1. Well, you never know. Things could get a bit hectic. Here we go. The Moneymaker's going to be going for the full send. I think they heard that MG3. And the spray does eventually work out, causing demise. Gets 1 elimination confirmed onto Moneymakers. But that is as far as he shall go. Moneymakers up to now 8 eliminations. And I believe looting that MG3 too, which is going to be making them an even tougher opponent to go up against. But they're not in the circle anymore. Circle shifted over to the more central position of this map, meaning they need to keep moving forward. But there's still a few buildings they can hold on to. So you know what? They might be able to get a decent position up there for free.
But now comes the big question, Max. Do you think that they are going to be able to secure enough points, Max, in this game to hold on to the lead that they have? Do you think it's possible? Yeah. Do you think it's possible, Max?
What kind of a question is that? You're baiting me right now. You're trolling.
Right? Yeah, they just going out there going like, look, it's a pixel, it's moving. Let's go. Wah! But yeah, I want to see what's going to come through from that eastern side of zone, right? We've got still so many players situated over here. In fact, we have, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. I mean, that's what, 12 players all over on towards the east of the zone. So I'm expecting a little bit of chaos, a little bit of carnage, with a sprinkling of mayhem. I'd love a little bit of that, but let's see how this goes.
Yummy mayhem. I love it. Tasty. I don't know. I don't know why I said tasty. Weird thing. Oh, there you go. Picks up the spray. Nice angle on 33Z. Go. SJ, I think, might be trying to punish it. Does get down in time behind that little side of the wall. Will be not taking the full brunt of those shots. But Hitman just gathering full information with that third-person perspective. I would love to see a tournament be an FPP for once. Just,
yeah.
How would that change the meta in PUBG Mobile Esports? I think every player would be just completely lost. Like, I can't see over this wall. What do you mean? This is so weird to see. But yeah, third-person perspective going to be used and abused in every single aspect of PUBG Mobile Esports. There you go. Picked up. Pretty good spray accuracy. Trying to be a bit greedy to try and confirm that elimination right away, which almost does get him punished. But it does work out eventually, and he does get himself that 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, big ups to that, right? It worked out. But now let's see if it's going to work out here for the Moneymakers. Only sitting on 10 eliminations right now. They only have 2 players left as well, so I'm not quite sure if this is going to work out. But we'll see, as the whole entire eastern side of the zone is also yet to do something. GR also trying to climb their way up to the 20 or 30 elimination point, whichever it is that they need to try and play a serious game of catch-up. But it is going to be a pretty tough and tested approach here, as Anno is starting to send a few shots, we can see up on the mini-map across the way. Cam Army, though, Max, they've been really quiet so far.
They have been. Cam Army, what are they going to be doing? What's going to be their game plan? I mean, currently they've got a decent position to play around. You know, they're in a nice northern western position on Monte Nuevo. They got a nice warehouse. They don't have to really get involved in the conversation just yet. They're just going to wait for Phase 7 to show its face. And then maybe go for a full send play or just stay put if they are still in circle. We're going to be seeing it pops up now and they are still in circle. Great. Cam Army, don't have to move whatsoever. Just stay put. Hold teams away. Definitely do not allow the side of Team M push up on your location. Hold them off like it's the plague, and you might be able to get yourself at least a decent top 2 finish, in my opinion. Cam, maybe looking for that second chicken dinner so far of the tournament.
I mean, it'd be good, right? It's also that potential opportunity for Cam Army to maybe get up into the top 6, right? As we know, they started off trailing by 17 points. They currently have 3. It's not quite 17, but it's a lot closer than not 3 points. So let's see if they can get the job done here. Anno also going to be looking to maybe gain a bit of ground, right? We did see them coming in, being tied with Bros Esports. Both squads had 80 points. As we know, Anno still alive and kicking over here, but can they kick up enough of a storm as the Moneymakers, lose one? Havlikaina now trying to rush up into the zone, just kind of riding the edge. Everybody now spotting out the movement, lighting those guns up, trying to see who can be the one to secure that elimination. Cam Army, though, they seem rather unfazed here, Max. They just like, yeah, that's nice. We'll just wait to see who else moves up.
I think they're saying, we don't care. we don't have to fight this. So you guys, you do you. Yeah. And we'll just stick around and we'll just see you guys just get weak and weak as time goes by. And then when the time is right, we'll strike while the iron is hot and we'll take an easy dub. I think that's exactly what we're going to be witnessing in about the next 5 minutes or so. Though, last, again, previous EA Esports here, holding onto that shed. I don't see any functioning car around them, so I think they're pretty much dead in the water at this point, unless a miracle happens right now. As they are trying to maybe find a little dip. Maybe they got some smokestar going to keep them alive a little bit longer. I think their hope is to make it to top 4 and out-survive a team or 2. But I'm genuinely just not expecting to see that happen. So Anno still in that hilltop position, which we said many times, DK, right, is a great position, but it's not great when you have to leave it. And right now, all the lobby is looking their way. The moment they start pushing downhill is the moment they're going to get completely blasted out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, for them, it is literally all downhill from here. So let's see if they can gain any ground in this coming zone. I mean, Cam Army, they probably have the easiest push forward, right? They only have to worry about one team directly alongside them here. So that is, of course, going to be the players from Team M. Vision and Hitman. But can we see the 3Zs making it all the way in? The utility doesn't have the reach. Not quite just yet. Biscay still getting spotted up on the high ground. And now it's going to be that big old push, right? GR also still alive and in this. Biscay with a beautiful response, but Vision locking in on target. Gets the spray, and that is Team M. Bring in a bit of an upset here alongside Cam Army.
Really good support there from Vision. Able to get himself... Well, actually, I'm saying Vision has to come from a different team completely, but what's his still respect that he was trying to get involved in the conversation. Here we go. SJ, CR, hopefully we'll be able to get the res onto 33Z. But yeah, the entirety of Anno just dropping down from these cliffside positions, and everyone is looking their direction. They would survive for now as a duo. They did lose a few of their players, but yeah, the car move from Cam Army is pretty decent. This is such a great little dip that is now playable because the high ground position of Anno is currently outside in the blue, meaning they can play these dips, and that is just going to be such a good launching point to reach that chicken dinner as they start to get involved, get more eliminations. This was a perfect execution, in my opinion, coming out from Cam Army.
Yeah, it is a great strategy. Let's see, can they lock it in though? Ooh. It's going to be Team M trying to figure out how they're going to get out of this building in one piece as we are in stage 9. That means it's only blue moving forward. No zones to worry about. You just got to survive as long as you can. And Hitman, I'm trying to stay true to their name. Trying to look to get as many hits as possible, but the blue is going to force their hand. Hitman goes right on down, and that is the end of the road. Now down to the final 3 we go. It is going to be Last, Cam Army, as well as GR Esports, who is going to try and play for placement points. But at this point, can they get it though? There's still a few opponents left. Last looking good. They've got 9 eliminations. Can they find more? The answer is possibly, definitely no, as we are down to Cam Army and GR.
Well, apparently talking smack in a YouTube chat and also able to back it up in game. Ninja now going to be in that 1v3 scenario, getting pushed up and will be eliminated. Cam Army taking home the final chicken dinner here of the tournament, but it doesn't matter as your champions here will be none other than moneymakers for Season 1 of the always-on Polish monthly finals. Congratulations, moneymakers, dominating from start to finish here and making sure that their name is known throughout the entirety of the Polish region.
I just hear their jingle should be ka-ching, because they just did it. Right? They locked in, they got a job done and dusted. But a very exciting finish coming through onto the final play here. I mean, Cam Army, I believe that's also their second victory, right? Their second win at Chicken Dinner. So big congratulations for them on that as well. But yeah, a slightly different Miramar that we had for this last match, right? Not really going exactly the way that we thought. I was expecting a slightly different pacing, especially it being the last match of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of an oddity compared to our day one in particular. It's quite different in terms of the pacing of these matches for a lot of these teams. But I'm very curious to see what the leaderboards look like. Did we have any of those big comebacks in maybe the top 3 into the top 5? How big of a gap has been created between some of these teams? Because, of course, big difference of prize pool. There you go. Moneymakers, of course, in first place with 154 points. Massive lead between themselves and GR Esports. But we did say it could be a possibility here, DK, and indeed it did happen. Anno Esports did overtake Ozrox's Esports third place position. Congratulations. Beautifully, beautifully executed. And Anno will be one of our 3 podium teams.
Yeah, I mean, they jumped all the way from 5th place up into 3rd, so quite a bit of a leap. But yeah, some exciting bits of gameplay that we saw coming through in this one. It's sad to see that Bros, they didn't pick up a single point in this last game, but they still sit there in the prize pool, right? So locking in that 6th place finish. But Cam Army, we got to commend the effort that they've brought in here, doing a lot of work, trying to climb their way up these leaderboards, and well, coming in with that final winner when a Chicken Dinner does award them that beautiful 7th place. And I mean, there's just been so much action coming in. Alpi, though, surprisingly enough, slipping all the way down to that 9th position here, Max.
They had such a hot start on day 1 too, but unfortunately lacking in eliminations really heavily, and that's going to be the biggest issue for Alpi. So hopefully in the future, we can see them be a little bit more frag-oriented, and that can maybe help them stay up on the top side of the leaderboards for just a little bit longer compared to what we saw here for these Polish monthly finals. But still, one amazing tournament. Love these last 2 days worth of gameplay for the Polish region. It's been really fun to see all these teams. Of course, we had some big names like the Moneymakers, etc. And also some new names really standing out to me, like GR Esports in particular. A lot of the players I didn't really know ahead of time. And man, oh man, these guys putting their name on the map, DK. And I actually would love to see these guys kind of flourish even more. Maybe make it to the professional scene itself, because I think these teams have so much potential that could really just flourish going into those bigger tournaments.
I have to agree with you on that. I mean, it'd be exciting to see how they would measure up against the big names, right? How they would fare. And I mean, based on the performances that we've seen so far, I have to agree, there is quite a bit of potential here. So I'd love to see that happen, right? Just have him kind of rub shoulders and see how much of an upset they can bring onto the battlefield. But yeah, with that, of course, Max, we are at the end of game number 10. That means we've got no more matches to play.
But we do have one thing that is very important that we need to talk about, which is the MVP, DK. Who was the MVP of these finals? Is going to be none other than Spike from the Moneymakers with 35 eliminations, 18 assists, and of course, almost just shy of 6,000 damage, which is crazy, which is ludicrous over the course of 10 total matches. So not only, of course, we do have an MVP for Moneymakers. I gotta say, the MVP is the entire team, because, oh my god, Spike at 35, Havlikana had 33, 21 over for Kvik, and then 29 eliminations for Default, who was our day 1 MVP. But Spike really stepping up massively for his team in day number 2, and definitely deserving of the MVP award for the tournament.
Yeah, Spike spoke, and that's all that was said, right? Those points coming through. Some pretty impressive plays across the way. But gotta say, though, I mean, the action was there from the first match, right? Match number 1 all the way up to match number 10. Just action, action, action. Just gotta love what these Polish teams have been bringing onto the battlefield. But as we know, right, with the Polish side now being wrapped on up, there's more to come, Max.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be the Romania Always On Monthly Final Season 1. I have to check some of the teams because I've been a bad caster. I've not done my research yet. But when you think of Romania, there's so many big names, DK. I'm thinking back to like the OG Eastern Stars. You had Nexus, all of those guys who were just so damn good. Doran, who is also still in the scene, heavily involved and is an absolute GOAT. Will he be playing? I have no idea. But if he is, we might have a money maker situation on our hands, DK, so it's going to get a little bit hectic over there. But no, definitely some great stuff coming out from, the Polish side of things. And tomorrow, Romania, man, I cannot wait to see how things are going to go down, because it's going to be tomorrow, same time, same place. DK, anything you'd like to add here about this tournament before we do call it a day?
No, that's all. I mean, I just appreciate all the insanity that we saw out on the battlefield, and I just want to see more.
I want to see more too. So you know what? We're going to do just that tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place on the TETO Games YouTube channel and all other social media. Make sure to tune in to see who will be crowned your Romania Always On Monthly Finals Season 1 champions. Thank you for watching, guys, and catch you all tomorrow for some more PUBG Mobile esports action.